Hey listeners, you're listening to the Midnight Readers podcast. Grab some tea, a midnight snack, and cuddle up in bed as we dive deep into today's most popular fantasies, sci-fi, and mysteries. We're your hosts. I'm Lily.
I'm Brittany.
And I'm Christy.
This season we'll be discussing a dark academia bully romance series known for its smutty content and often billed as a Harry Potter for adults. That's right, grab your Stardust, we're headed to Solaria.
Welcome to Zodiac Academy. Note to students, vampire bites, loss of limbs, or getting lost in the Wailing Woods will not count as a valid excuse for being late to class or this podcast.
In today's episode, we're discussing Book 5, Cursed Fates, chapters 18 through 30, where Tory and Darcy attend a party and nothing bad happens for the first time. Tory and Darius's relationship seems to be headed up in more ways than one, thanks to Caleb. However, things are not looking bright for Darcy and Orion when he's arrested by the FIB.
Before we get into it, this is your warning for major spoilers ahead. This includes potentially all Zodiac Academy world books, including the Ruthless Boys and Darkmoor Penitentiary series. We might accidentally let spoilers slip for other popular romantasy book series as well. Sorry in advance, like the books this podcast is rated R, it's gonna get spicy. Also language, so be warned.
Also, a friendly reminder to please like, subscribe, and follow. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. And before we get started with our episode, I know that in the past episodes, we have had some intense dialogue, some good debates, and I just thought that we would discuss that for a minute for our listeners since I was editing and came across that debate in episode 12 between Brittany and Christy and just thought, do we want to address it?
Yes, I think we get quite attached to some of these characters and it's very emotional, I guess.
Yeah.
But it's a fun debates too, though.
Oh yeah, and like we've said in the past, it's something that these authors are very good at, is making you feel emotionally invested in these characters, and sometimes you happen to see yourself in them, and
And sometimes,
Just happens.
feelings come out.
So yeah, if you don't like debates, then this might be a difficult podcast for you.
yeah, just know that we're all friendly here. There is no actual hostility.
And that a good debate is just a good debate.
Yes, everybody is welcome to their differing opinions. There is nothing wrong with that.
Just in case. But yeah, so we just wanted to make it clear because there's probably going to be some strong opinions in this episode too, and we want everyone to know this is just fun. Sometimes
Yes.
it is just a debate for debate's sake.
Yes, it is very fun. And sometimes, me especially, but sometimes Brittany, we get a little
Sometimes.
spirited. We are spirited
Spirited is a good
in
word.
in our opinions.
Or contrary, just to be contrary. I mean,
It's shits and giggles, yeah.
Yeah, as Lily pointed out, I do like to just, push just to push sometimes.
Terrible. She's terrible.
Antagonize.
And that's a good word for it, honestly. Antagonize.
It's the Aries in me, I'm just saying. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, probably.
And the Virgo in me is like, this is what's right.
No, actually, yeah. Okay. Anyway.
All right, so last we left off, Mild Dreadful just forcibly split the school into the asses and the whores. Darcy had dreams of a special gift for Orion, and Tory had freed Catalina from Lionel's dark coercion. Now, Catalina needs Tory's help.
I, at first, was really hesitant. When I first started reading the chapter, I was, really hesitant to trust Catalina, but despite that hesitancy, I probably would have helped her too. I just thought it was so out of nowhere.
And mine didn't come to pass. I was really worried that it was either going to be a setup or that Lionel would just happen to be home.
Yeah.
So that was, especially when she got there and the guards announced her visit, I thought Jenkins was going to run his little happy ass back to Lionel and Lionel was going to rush home. And
He probably did, but I think Lionel was not able to come home
Butkins.
because of the whole war effort. Yeah, Butkins.
yeah.
But yeah, no, I just think it's so funny because I don't remember ever, after finding out that she was dark coerced, I don't remember mistrusting her. So It's interesting to find that y'all are a little bit more paranoid than me, which is saying something.
I think it's less I think it's less that I don't trust her and more of I just don't trust the situation. I was like, this can't be as straightforward as it sounds, and it was, oddly.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a lot more straightforward. Because, yeah, that was the same thing. I felt like it left too much open for things to go wrong. Not necessarily that Catalina would purposely screw her over, but if she was dark coerced again or something beyond her control. But no, I don't think Catalina, in and of herself, would do something to hurt anyone fighting Lionel.
Yeah, I mean, after y'all mentioned it, it did, like, what if he found out that she was texting her and set her up kind of thoughts? But since you brought it up, you had asked if, since Tori cleaned out the dark coercion, can they be dark coerced again? And yeah, they really can.
So it could be somebody that we think is helping could end up setting them up, not of their own choosing, but because they're dark coerced.
It could have been, I guess, in theory. Though I think in this situation, it just worked out really well for everyone involved.
Yeah.
There's so much that goes wrong in this book series. I think they had to have a few things go right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We talked about it last episode, but Tori has the same thoughts about the special therapy that Xavier is going through. Do y'all think that Catalina was right about what Lionel's ultimate plans were? About, coercing him into never shifting ever again?
I don't know. I mean, this just seemed, I think it was Lily that said in one of the episodes that it was just a fuck up. Like the authors didn't think it through all the way. And I kind of feel maybe that about this because he doesn't strike me as the person that would do something so stupid. But yeah, I mean, I think it was either you or Lily that talked about the fact that at some point it would shift.
It was Lily.
Oh, okay. But that at some point his body would force the shift regardless of what his mind said. So I think it was an author fuck up.
I think it was either an author issue or Lionel just thinks he can do things that he really can't. I think that is also a possibility. I don't know. It just seemed like a silly part of the story.
I don't think Lionel thinks that he has limits, to be honest.
Yeah. Like I said in the notes, at least they acknowledge that it's an insane plan.
Yeah. What about the fact that she threw him out the window?
Fabulous.
Okay. I don't know about y'all, but in that moment, I was like, what the fuck? Give a guy a warning. I understand afterwards she was like, yeah, but now he can't say that he was a part of it and he can't say that he was planning this with her or anything. That's true and that is good. But in the moment, I was like, what the fuck? Don't throw him out the window.
She said she was ready to catch him.
I believe it.
And she didn't want him to fight back.
Yeah. Yeah, it was good.
I think that made it easier. Yeah, I loved it. I loved it. Surprise! Yes.
Tori leaves on her own despite Darius's protests and concerns. And Christy, you had some thoughts about that with her deciding to text Darcy.
Oh, So I felt like at this point, because she mentioned something about Darcy being unreachable because she's with Orion. And I was like, what the fuck? At this point, if everybody knows that shit can go down at any moment, you cannot be unreachable. And I did not want Tori to go by herself. Because again, I thought this was either going to be some sort of Lionel setup or that he was going to get there and something terrible was going to happen. I mean, it ended up being perfectly fine. But in that moment, I was just like, look at your phone, damn it.
That is a good point in this moment of, I don't want to call it unrest because, I mean, it is, but it's also, Lionel has pretty much decided to kill you because you're phoenixes. And yeah, you probably should not be unreachable.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe this is not to dismiss how you feel about it, but I almost feel like it's just a line put in the book so that Darcy cannot be a part of this. Make sure that Darcy cannot, a good reason for Darcy to not be a part of the scene. I almost feel like the unreachable thing is not because Darcy is always unreachable. It's actually so that Tori has to do this alone and Tori goes and saves Xavier alone. It's just a plot point. And so I just completely ignored it because I don't think it's as consequential as it sounds, maybe.
So because it's Darcy, for me,
right,
it is wildly consequential.
You were like, well, because I kind of hate her. Every sentence is gonna be consequential.
Yes.
Again,
Yeah.
Lily brings up a good point here too, because if it had been a trap and
Darcy. Sorry.
if Tory and Darcy both had went, wouldn't they have both been caught in this trap?
I think they would have a better chance of fighting him if they're together. Because I think at this point they're stronger than he is.
Yeah.
As long as they're together. Separately, I don't think they are.
Even though Clara has control over the shadows and can lock them down and
She's probably off playing with some
suppress her.
fucked up headless Barbie dolls. Like,
she is his guardian. She's going to be near him.
well, yeah, but burn and run. Burn and run.
Burn and run.
All right. I love that she gave the guards the resting bitch face.
Classic Tory.
However, the excuse she came up with as why she was there, I was like, what the fuck? Who is going to fucking believe that you came to Acrex Manor to beg Lionel for his permission to be with his son?
I wish she had thought about it a little bit more before arriving.
Yeah.
I don't understand why the guards believed her. I don't get it. It was a dumb excuse.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable.
Why didn't she do like the back of the manor or something, like right outside that bubble, and then come around instead of being
To
like...
start us somewhere, you do have to have an image. So if she's never seen it, she can't go.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
So maybe she didn't have the ability to do that. But still.
So maybe she could have had Darius take her.
Or Catalina send a picture.
Literally anything else.
Can you do it from a picture?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Because all you have to do is just imagine the place that you
This
want
is
to
their
go.
flu powder, remember? They have to...
Yeah.
But you have to be able to picture it in your mind.
My luck at the last second, I'd be like, oh, I gotta go to the bathroom. End up in a toilet. And I don't... Stupid star twats. Did they say that? Did they say stupid star twats?
I think so. When she was stardusting there,
Okay.
you know purple's you, right?
That is me. That is me that put that.
Oh, man. And can I just say that I love that everybody hated on Mildred equally in that Facebook post?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it was beautiful.
Tyler.
Oh, it was great. It reminded me so much of Mean Girls, that iconic scene where they're like, I heard she did car commercials in Japan. I heard blah, 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 blah. I heard this about Regina George. Anyway, it obviously isn't the same thing, but it just reminded me so much of that. Very classic.
I told this to you already, but one of those hashtags reminded me of you previously in an episode when we talked about the Pegasus sex doll. And it just made me laugh so much harder this time around.
Is it
Because I could hear you. Love will find a way.
Anyway.
Caleb's going with it. That whole scene was just so far the funniest of the whole thing. Just my vision of it.
Yeah, Brittany, you got to post that on Instagram. I noticed that you hadn't posted it. You got to post that part.
I need to. Jenkins gets a new nickname, which I love. It's Butkins. And yet, Lily, you came up with an even better one.
Shitkins.
What do you think about the fact that the whole family doesn't trust him? It's not just Darius and Xavier. Catalina doesn't trust him. The only person this man has loyalty to is Lionel.
How has there not been an accident in that fucking house for him?
I know.
For Jenkins? Or Shitkins?
Yeah. Come on, you've been undark coerced. I mean, all it takes is 1 second. Come on.
Yeah,
Light him up.
It makes me wonder. It makes me wonder what he's done in the past to make them so distrustworthy of him. Like, what has he done?
You talking about Jenkins?
Yeah.
Darius has said a little bit where he's like,
He outs them.
he tells on them
Yeah.
and then is gleeful about getting them in trouble and then scowls at them for daring to get blood on his floor.
I'm just wondering what else.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that's not enough. I need more.
Okay, how about Xavier's pickles?
Not the pickles.
He's just a very spiteful person.
Yeah,
He
that's
is.
yeah.
Come on. All right, let's get him out of there.
Pickles is enough. You're right.
The pickles is enough.
And I know that we've talked about this before, but after Tori throws Xavier out of the window, she says the only power here is in keeping it as in his order, a secret. Now that it's out, it's out. And I know we've already talked about this before because they brought it up multiple times in the series. Why are they just now going through with it?
Yeah, it does. It just makes me wonder, like, they could have done that so many times, like, especially when they were having the Christmas party and they were all playing together and Xavier was having the time of his life. What a perfect time to announce that if it weren't for the nymphs, you know? That was the perfect time. I don't understand why they waited.
Are you talking about when they were attacked by the nymphs?
Yeah, and then he's still in his Pegasus form whenever it's all over, and he's afraid to shift back because then it would be obvious that it's him. And Darius makes this big excuse for who he is, and I thought that that was the perfect time to reveal it. And like you and I have said before, why wouldn't they just go ahead and get it over with, and then Lionel wouldn't be able to do anything about it?
Yeah, that was exactly what my frustration with that whole thing too.
I don't get it.
Because yeah, one thing that Tori says that is correct, if Lionel says anything or does anything against his shifting, then he's alienating every Pegasus.
Yeah.
So
the only thing I could argue on Darius's behalf is he was dark coerced, but the rest of them, they could have done something. All of the heirs were there. Imagine having Xavier shift back and all the heirs are there and they're all supportive of him, just like they are in this photo shoot later. It would have gone the same way. I don't understand. Anyway, I'll leave it at that.
yeah.
What did y'all think about Catalina undressing and going to take a flight with her son, which is probably the first time that they've ever flown together?
I loved it.
It was so beautiful. What a nice moment. I never even thought about the fact that she's never shifted. I never considered that. I wonder how long it's been since she's shifted, and I wonder how hard that's been on her.
Does that go towards, because we were talking about with the conversion therapy, that at some point your body would force you to shift? But yeah, if it's been a long time for her,
Who knows?
does she just shift like in the bedroom, or does she have a dungeon that she can pop out and in?
They never explain it. They do have a big yard in the back,
Nice.
so she probably managed to shift and,
In the backyard.
go, yeah, go flying occasionally. But I love that she's silver. Darius is gold. She's silver.
Beautiful.
Lionel's fucking green, but you know,
Because he's evil.
it's green and purple, right? The evil colors of Disney.
Right? Yeah. Which is sad.
He should have, yeah.
Okay, can we just talk
He
about
should
for a
have
minute
purple eyes.
the absolute insane commentary that you had in the notes, Brittany, about her shifting into a dragon? Totally unnecessary commentary.
I mean, so Tori notes her fake tits, which, by the way, how does she know that they're fake? But if they are fake, I just asked, wouldn't non-human parts or non-fey parts don't usually shift? That's why they tread through their clothes. So what happens to silicone breasts if they do they shift
Where
with?
is this in here? What
That's
page
the
is it?
true
Unfortunately, that part got deleted whenever I
What? Because I was
It was
had a
this
smart-ass comment
long ass conversation between me and Brittany because I responded and I was like, well, I mean, fake vaginas and penises work just like a normal part of the body, so why wouldn't this? And then she was like, well, it's silicone, it's not biological material. And you're right, but it is still functionally part of the body, so that's my argument. I don't know.
like, what if they're still in her body and they move, and when she shifts back, they're not there anymore?
That's the true
So I
movie
feel
magic.
like you pay attention to her tits more than Tori does.
Yes.
Keep mentioning it. They keep talking about her tits,
And Brittany keeps bringing it up.
it stands out this time.
Do we need to talk about something, Brittany? Anyways,
Maybe it's just tit envy.
trust me, you don't want them. You don't.
I don't want them.
No.
Yeah.
Okay, I have no clue where we're at now.
We are on the part where it says Darius is waiting for her when she gets back.
Okay.
This was added in there because I wasn't going to bring up the whole tit thing, but that was a side note. But anyway. All right. So Darius is waiting for her when she gets back. And one of you mentioned last episode, I think, about Tori getting rid of Darius's dark coercion. I think it was you, Christy. And I had to hold my tongue so much because I was like, it's coming. But
I
I'm
think
glad.
the book brought it up, didn't
I
it?
thought it was me, but it doesn't
Once,
matter.
oh, it
Is it?
it
Oh,
might have been you, Lily. I know one of you
We
mentioned
probably
it.
all
I
talked
just I
about
thought
it.
it was, and I was just like, I'm glad it was coming up because it is out, and they actually have this little cute moment, even though Darius is angry, which brings up connotations for later on when she's like, well, I don't know what would happen if I made him angry. Well, you just made him angry.
Yeah.
yeah.
But what did y'all think about the scene with, Darius and the heirs?
What did I write?
You were waiting for this?
Oh, yeah. Okay. I had to remember this chapter. So, like I said previously, I knew this was going to happen. As soon as she found out that she was able to do this, it would just be a matter of time until she figured out that she needed to do this to Darius. And such a beautiful moment, such a huge moment when she finally burns it all away. And you can, in your mind, you can see all of that lift from him. And I just felt so good for Darius, and I was so happy that Tori did that because they can really start anew now, because I feel like the dark coercion was holding them both back, and there's no way that he could have been real and honest with her with those barriers up.
Yeah, and I mean, when she's doing it, she's like, I went through one, and then another, and then another, and then another, and then another.
Yep.
Like so many.
That's what I felt like this was the perfect time for there to be a turning point, and I felt like the authors missed it yet again, because I loved that when she freed him, she saw just how binded he was. And that maybe she would start to understand a little bit where he's coming from, and not to completely excuse things, but at least to have her understand that and soften a little bit towards him. But yeah, I felt like this would have been the perfect moment for a fresh new start.
What did you want to happen?
Because it could be a fresh new start. It just may not show right away.
Well, later on though, when she is like, I still can't trust him. I still like, it was kind of the old.
Personally, I think that it's her falling in love, like actually starting to trust her, and that she's falling back on,
She's fighting back.
I
Yeah.
need to remember, I need to do this. But is she convincing herself, do you think, that she shouldn't?
No, I think eventually it'll play out, but I feel like they're taking too long. I felt like this is where they could have really shifted it into maybe her going to talk to him, or maybe this is the point where she starts trying to piss him off to see if he really has changed and if it makes a difference, you know? I wanted a little bit more, and I think more of my frustration was with her this time, as far as not
To be fair, she
saying
wiped
some things.
herself out. She was like barely holding it together.
Oh no, I don't mean like in this moment,
Yeah.
to like make everything right, but just some of the stuff after just was the same old.
Well, if
Oh,
there's
I
one
can't trust
thing-
him. Oh, you know.
Well, if there's one thing about these authors is they can drag some shit out.
They can.
Yeah, and I think that's the hard part for me, because I start to get to where I am like, you know, and I so far I'm not like that with Tory and Darius. They have kind of renewed it a little with some of this, but I just
Yeah.
don't want that to happen.
But you also have to remember when she's laying in Darius's bed, she's like, maybe I did make a mistake.
Yeah, that was the first time I think she really kind of thought that way. That
Because Darius wasn't with her in
yeah,
the bed.
yeah. I think I was good with it up until we get to that point after the underground place or whatever, that her verbiage after that just sounded too much like it did in the past books, that it was like, okay, come on.
Yeah, it's a slow growth.
I could, but I would rather them just have her go, okay, I just need some time. I want to trust you. I've learned all these things, but I'm having a, just something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, I wish
mean-
they just talk to each other. God, it's
Yes.
exhausting.
But then the earth shakes.
I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. Like I said, I think I said it in the last episode or something. Scream at him across the room. Like, do what you gotta do. I don't know. Text the man. Come on.
All right. So Xavier is finally free. Maybe. He gets to attend school. He may be able to join a herd. And I know that you mentioned there was a phone call that he got right before this photo shoot that you were like, I'm a little disappointed in Sophia.
Just a smidge, just a little smidge. Still love her.
I'll be honest, I was too. Like, you're supposed to be Hermione. Come on.
Right? How would you not know?
I know, right?
Because to me, and wasn't just the way I was reading it, but I felt like in the past books, when this had come up, that she had an inkling. I felt like she
Yeah.
might kind of know. And so when this happened, I was like, wait a minute. I thought you were almost there
I thought she
anyways.
also kind of knew in the back of her head. I was disappointed as well, a little bit.
Yeah, I felt like she was very much like Philip, you know?
Yeah. Philip. Okay.
Thought the conversation was a little awkward.
For sure.
Your name isn't Philip, right? No. You're Xavier? Yeah.
Xavier's awkward, but that's what I
I
love
know,
about
I
him.
know.
You
He
know,
is
when
so
he has to
socially
change.
awkward.
I
It's not
love
even
that
funny.
though. I feel like
Mhm.
the conversation was awkward, but why did it feel so realistic?
Mhm.
It did.
It felt
did.
real. I will give them that.
I just can't wait for y'all to see Xavier in the future because he is probably the most socially awkward character.
Well, he stays awkward.
love that.
Good.
He
I'm
stays
so
awkward.
glad.
I love that
love
so
it.
much.
I was worried they were going to make him like a suave stallion or something.
He's sheltered. He can't be like he'll try though, I'm
Okay.
sure.
Mhm.
We'll have to take this part out, but I've mentioned to Lily before that the Pegasus kind of, they're all glittery, so they have to decorate certain parts of themselves with jewels.
Oh,
It's awkward.
I love Xavier so much.
does he not do it right?
Does he not
Aw.
do it right? Oh. Christy.
Not do it right.
No. Oh my god.
Does that not go there?
Does he put like little googly eyes on it?
on his testicles and then like the nose?
Oh my god.
Oh my god, it's great. Forget what they call it, but I think they call it a dejazzle and a vajazzle.
Terrible.
Terrible.
Oh god.
I'm sorry.
These authors have too much fun. What did you say, Christy?
I didn't.
It's just the look on her face of like, oh, my childhood is ruined.
Oh, Lord.
All right. So, because he's made their lives a fucking reality TV show of sorts for public consumption, Lionel has to announce to the world that his son is now a Pegasus, and there's a photo shoot that takes place. Thoughts on this wonderfully cute moment?
Listen, I think it is a ridiculous concept that he has to do this, but was it so fun to read? Yes, absolutely. All the heirs joining in, the fucking carrot that Lionel has to feed him. I can't.
It was wonderful.
That was so great. I love how the narrator was like, what did they ask Lionel? They were like, aren't you so proud? And he was like, so proud.
So proud. So proud.
So proud. Through gritted teeth.
And Christy, you said Seth got a few points for being supportive.
He was the first one running out. Yeah, Seth definitely got a few points. Okay, do y'all ever have little extra scenes in your head? Like things that you would love to see happen?
Sometimes, yeah.
And so for me, the whole carrot thing, in my mind, I pictured Darius shifting into a dragon behind him and then poking him on the shoulder, Lionel, and been like, can I have a carrot?
Like Seth says later, if there's one thing they can do, it's put on a show.
Oh yeah.
I love that Xavier was like, the best part about this day is having to watch my father grin and bear it through the whole thing.
Absolutely. It was so worth it.
And one of the photographers was like, maybe we should book him for Zodiac Weekly.
And I was like, no, he's just a baby.
So this is where the audio versus reading. I read it. I was almost a little worried they were being a smart ass about it or being mean to him, but it wasn't like,
Oh no, he
No.
was like, nice.
okay.
He's like,
okay.
Maybe
looking
I could get
good.
your number.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was like, leave him alone. That's my child.
And I mentioned that I was surprised that Caleb actually laid on the ground in front of Xavier and made all these comments when he's got that whole Pegasus rumor that he's so pissed about all the time.
That is Caleb, because Caleb is that fucking awesome.
Is he though?
Yes, he is that fucking awesome that he would totally screw himself to support Xavier.
The vampires are ride or die, I have to say. They are ride or die.
I do love Caleb.
Mhm.
I just thought it was funny that he was like, I was looking at that sparkly neck salivating.
God damn it, Caleb.
They love Xavier's twinkle.
So proud of him for sparkling.
And any thoughts on Portia Silverstone? She think good guy, bad guy? Is she the Tucker Carlson of
Tucker
Solaria?
Carlson, that's pretty harsh.
Now you fucking ruined her. I hope you didn't like her.
Well, she is reporting. She is in charge of the Celestial Times, so she employs.
Fuck up Gus.
Yeah, fuck up Gus and
Investigator.
Mr. Pecker. And she's allowing these articles to run about the twins.
I can't believe you called him Tucker Carlson. Fucking hell.
I know.
That's pretty bad.
The bitch has to die.
Well, I said, do you think she is Tucker Carlson?
I don't have, this is one thing, I don't have any preconceived notions about her right now besides the fact that she probably sucks because she's a news reporter. I don't have any reason to think any badly of her yet. We haven't read anything.
Yeah.
You pointed out, why does Lionel have to keep her sweet?
Hey, it was just a weird way of phrasing it.
Well, I mean, any news or media person, if you want the media to like you, of course you gotta suck up to them. I just took it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I guess Seth points out later the twins can't rule if nobody supports them. So if she manages to turn people against Lionel.
Oh, okay. So I have a. Since you're asking us about her, I'm assuming she is important.
That's what I assume.
So she might be a critical part later on, either going for or against Lionel. So we're not sure. We'll see. We'll see who she's.
Maybe.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, we know. We don't say maybe. We already know. But
You know when Brittany brings up some random shit that it's going to be important later.
yeah. That ship has sailed, Brittany.
She may or may not play a part. I mean,
okay.
it could be
Again,
a tiny
the ship
part.
has left the port and is halfway around the world.
Thank you, Christy.
All right, so after the photo shoot and the flying session, the heirs and Xavier hang out and have a pretty serious discussion about their future plans revolving around Lionel. Darius reveals that he's told them everything, and the heirs have told their parents, though that's apparently not enough for the counselors to do anything. So what do you think it's going to take for the counselors to actually step up and do something?
So this is funny because in the episode that I'm editing right now and that will be coming out this week, episode 12, somebody brings up, I think it was Brittany, you bring it up to Christy that Christy had said before, why don't they tell the counselors? Like, why don't they tell somebody? And, Brittany kind of touched on it in that episode. And then we come back to this. They have finally talked to the counselors and it has done nothing. And you said in that episode that there would need to be proof. And that's what the counselors tell the heirs. But my thing is, Clara is the proof. Like, where the fuck did she come from? Why does she have shadow control? These are all plenty of proof in my mind. All you gotta do is make that crazy bitch walk out in front of them, and that is proof enough, I think.
Oh, yeah. Lionel says to her that she has to stay in the attic because she's not well enough to keep the shadows hidden.
Plus, Xavier is proof, or he's witness, and so is Catalina. I mean...
Yeah, it seems weird that Darius, Xavier, Catalina, the twins, and all the heirs could come forward and say, I've witnessed them using shadows.
Yeah.
And yet...
So this,
not to mention they could Cyclops memory read his
ass. There you go.
Yeah, unless the shadows can protect from that, kind of like the Phoenix does, maybe. I feel like it's either what Lily has said before, either kind of a plot hole by the authors, like they didn't completely think it through, or there's something else going on that we just don't see yet.
Yeah.
Because it seems it doesn't make make sense.
It also didn't make sense to me why Clara outs the twins for having the shadows to Lionel. And then she just comes here, outs herself, and she's not going to go tell Lionel that she outed herself in front of the heirs and that they know?
Yeah. She's a loose cannon.
She is.
I don't think Lionel's going to be able to keep control of her for much longer. I'm shocked that he has, to be honest.
Miss Bellatrix.
I don't know what their
I was
plans
shocked that
are.
he was so mean to her.
Oh, yeah.
The way he talked to her, I was really surprised. Just because I think at this point, could she fry his ass?
Oh, yeah. But she has the guardian bond, so I don't know if he said it.
That's crazy.
Yet.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah. I don't know if Lance has said it yet or not, but he once tried to punch Darius, and he ended up punching himself. Because he can't physically hurt Darius.
But Orion is of sound mind. I get the feeling Clara would love the pain.
But it's...
Like, she would keep punching him like,
wonder if she's going to find a way to break it.
No, the bond won't allow the guardian to have any harm come to the guarded. So when Lance tried to punch Darius, he didn't punch Darius. He ended up punching himself because he couldn't allow harm to come to Darius.
Okay.
So it's the magic within the bond that won't allow her to hurt him.
Okay, but being in the shadows for so long, could it have warped that bond to allow her to do things?
I doubt it, but I don't know.
Okay.
It clearly drove her crazy.
Did it, or was she crazy before?
Lance seems to think she wasn't crazy before.
Did she go in, one apple short?
Yeah, probably.
If you.
A couple apples
Lance
short.
seems to think she was fine.
I wonder if she's going to find a way to break it then. Break the bond.
It's never been done before. Lance and Darius have been trying to find a break for that bond for a while. So far, the only thing they can find to break it is death.
Okay.
So if you die and then you're brought back, would it reinstitute the bond, or you're free?
I would think that you would be free.
Well, we know of one character who probably died and came back, Miguel. So maybe it's possible.
He more half came back, though.
You really think he died and came back?
No, I don't
He's
know.
like a half calf.
It's a good question, Blanca.
All right.
God damn it.
On to more joyous news. In the next chapter, we learn that Gabriel's wife is pregnant. And any thoughts on the baby? Boy, girl, or order form? Thoughts?
Excuse me, what did you say? Did you give it away? I think because there's so many daddies that it's going to be either a baby girl vampire just like Mama, or it's going to be something random, completely random. But I think it's going to be a baby girl vampire. I also think that would be really cute because they're all kind of like mafia gang leaders and they're going to be really protective of her. I think that's the way it's going to go.
I think a baby girl Hydra.
I don't think that's a bad idea.
Though, as I pointed out, if Gabriel was the son of the king, that would make him a Vega, and he would be the one who was next in line for the throne.
Gabriel would be the next in line for the throne?
If he were the son of the king.
Okay.
Are we sure the rules work that way? Because they were there first.
They were there
Weren't they?
first.
Right? Because it was their younger
So
brother,
maybe he's
right?
their
No,
half brother on their
Gabriel is
mom's
older.
side.
He's older?
Yeah, he's older. He's Orion's age.
Yeah. Can you guys hear her purring?
No.
She's so loud.
But she looks like Mama.
Yeah, she's like, sorry.
Aw.
You missed it. She
Yeah,
was like looking up at me.
Gabriel is 5 or 6 years older than or he's the same age as Orion. So I guess Tori pointed out that they were 8 years older. So
And then
if
I
he
said
were-
Orion should never point out their age gap ever again.
I guess, though, unless the daddy was not actually their daddy.
Yeah, I think they're half
but then
siblings.
they wouldn't be. I would say, but then they wouldn't be Vegas.
No. The girls had the king as daddy. But I don't know, though. I don't think mom would cheat on dad. Because they had a good relationship, right? Like the Savage King stuff.
Maybe she
ended
had
with
him
her.
before she met Hale.
Ooh, a stepson.
Yeah, like a half brother.
And this all hinges on the fact that if
What do you say
Gabriel,
if? We already
is-
know.
Notice
You
she's
never know.
talking about it like
do.
it is an issue. So obviously.
well, because the baby can't be a Hydra if Gabriel wasn't the son of the king.
Right.
Unless
And-
it was his uncle or something.
Could be,
Oh,
but that would make
It's so creepy.
that would be fucked up.
Gabriel their cousin.
Not if it was with his mother.
But then you'd have my situation where
Don't
my
say it.
family situation where my aunt is also it's my dad's sister and his cousin because she married brothers. My grandma married brothers.
Like an idiot. That's crazy.
Man.
That's wild. Blanca, you're
Apparently,
so
it's
fat.
very common in my family to do that on that side of the family. Anyway.
Sorry.
But no. So in Gabriel's family, his wife is a vampire. Her brother is a Pegasus. Her mother is a Pegasus. Her
A
husbands
Pegasus,
are.
baby.
Oh, so no, that'd be pretty young for Xavier to marry, right?
Yeah, it would be like 18-year difference.
Although, since he's the guy, that's totally normal, right?
Oh God.
So she's a vampire. Her mom's a Pegasus. Her brother's a Pegasus. Her husbands are harpy, dragon, lion, basilisk, and whatever family heritage they have.
That's why I was saying
So
in the notes that it's not proven that it's Gabriel's child. It could be many other men's
oh.
child.
Oh, that's
the,
right. Okay.
The dragon is also the child of a family of wolves. So there's that.
So that's why I was like, I'm playing it safe. I'm going with the baby is like mom, not the 4 other men that are putting it in her.
Okay. So would Gabriel be excited about a baby that wasn't
Of
his?
course.
Is that like that family works that way that they're all like,
Yeah,
okay.
they call themselves either its boyfriend-in-laws or husband-in-laws. And
Who's your daddy?
and so the answer,
If it was Dante, that's how he would say it. I'm sorry.
Not me.
I already know the answer because it's revealed in the Ruthless Boys series. But
Is that going to give anything away for this if you tell us?
no,
Okay, well then
Tell us and we'll
What
take
is
it out of the episode.
No, we'll ruin it for everyone. Go ahead.
their first child is a boy,
Fuck.
Aw, lame.
and he's a bear.
A what?
A bear shifter? I don't know. But they have a girl who's a Pegasus shifter. And she
But this baby is a boy bear.
Yeah. She also might have
Wow.
She also might have some seer powers.
Eh.
So
I'm
in the
disappointed.
book series,
Me too.
it's implied that the girl child is biologically Gabriel's.
Aw.
At least. We don't know about
Yeah.
the boy.
Blanca.
What'd she do?
She jumped from inside the box over there up on the table and nearly knocked everything down. Ugh.
But they have implied at the end of Ruthless Boys, you see RJ, which is the girl, attend a party that's rated by the FIB, and her boyfriend
It's Blanca.
dumps her and runs, and she's arrested by the FIB, and Gabriel's like, yeah, that's her man. And it's implied that that might be a series as well.
I see. Look at Blanca.
But she's like, I'm in heaven. This is my heaven.
She's like-
my place of heaven.
Oh my gosh.
She said, why'd you stop? But anyway, I just wanted to know y'all's thoughts. It doesn't, I think the boy's name is Luca, and he
Love that name.
sort of shows up later on in the book, but
Actually,
only in a small sense.
I don't love
these
that name
books?
because of a serial killer named after it, though.
Ah, wait, serial killer.
There's a serial killer named
Which one?
Luca Magnotta.
like a real one?
Yeah, that name is ruined for me now. I just remembered him. He's the main serial killer in the documentary Don't Fuck with Cats. He got caught.
Ooh, am I gonna want to hear this?
You might want
Does he
to. He got caught because of a video he posted online, in which was about cats, and people were so upset at the video that the online internet tracked him down and caught a serial
I'm
killer.
glad for that, but
Huh?
I said I'm glad he was caught, but I don't.
Yeah, I don't want to tell you what he did, but because
Yeah,
of what
please
he
don't.
did, people were so outraged that he was caught. So
I think people like that should just have their whole lives destroyed. You hurt animals, then you are just a fucking worthless human being.
yeah, they were not close to catching him until he posted that online, and I mean,
Angered the online community.
angered a huge community of cat lovers, and they single-handedly tracked him down without police help.
Of course, police aren't going to do shit anyways.
Still, it's very impressive considering he was all the way in like Romania or some shit, and these people were in America doing like online investigation, like looking up coordinates and like videos and stuff to like find him and place him. It was really impressive. Don't watch the documentary.
Oh no.
It's fascinating though.
But yeah, but I'm definitely proud of that community that did that.
It's a really interesting
Actually
story.
gave a shit, but
Anyways, I'm sorry.
You're good. I could be wrong about the name, but I think it's Luca.
I like that name. Shame that guy fucked it up.
It would have been interesting, though, if the baby was a Hydra, because
That would've.
they are extinct now.
yeah, or anything other than a bear. I like bears.
Yeah, like a
but-
bear? What?
I know.
Nothing wrong with bears, but it makes so little sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, her mom was a stripper.
How does that connect to the bear?
It's supposed to be her ancestry was all screwed up because she was also the daughter of a stripper.
So they don't know who in her past would have been shifter or vampire or what their order form would have been, I guess. That's why.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't even remember bear being an option in the order forms.
It's never been mentioned until
Oh,
that book.
how convenient.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just wanted to hear your thoughts. I never thought that y'all would actually get it because I didn't get it.
No, not that.
And in fact, I'm pretty sure it's never mentioned again. Unless, no, I think it's never. They mentioned the polar capital, and I think that they might have bears up there, but I think they're polar bears. I could be wrong. Anyway,
A better
I
question is,
love
what the fuck is Diego?
What's your gift, Diego?
Silence. Crickets.
What's your gift? I love that they have to really, really think about it, and then Tori's like, "It's your hat."
You know, Tori was trying. She wanted to say something nice, but damn.
You also noted that he brought the mood down.
Always. He always does.
Yeah.
And this is random, but every time Kylie opens her mouth, I just want to punch her. Even when she's saying something like, "Oh my God, sir, are you having a baby?"
Oh yeah, they make her so annoying in the book.
Shut the fuck up.
Seriously, they make her so annoying.
Somebody needs to, go all Ursula on her and take her voice. Okay. So in this chapter, you both had different reactions to Darcy. Obviously, we know why with Christy. But Christy, do you want to explain why you were feeling the way you were feeling?
Well, I think Lily and I had somewhat of a similar reaction to the part that I was reacting to, because she kind of mentions that she's done sympathizing with Kylie. And I felt like in that same scene, she was being an idiot as well, because I felt like she had such an opportunity when, for one brief second, Kylie is being honest, a little bit authentic. It sounded like and again, I could be reading into it, but it sounded like there was some fear there or something. And she had a brief moment to maybe not really connect with her, but maybe get some information out of her. And she completely misses it. I don't know. I feel like she's just so caught up in her own world that she completely misses it. So I was really irritated with her, and I kind of enjoyed some of that. But yeah, what did I put? Definitely don't trust Seth, but seriously, if she hasn't learned this by now, then fool me twice. Yeah, that whole, like, how many times does it have to happen before it's your fault for falling for it?
And I know, Lily, you said you were kind of proud of Darcy for how she defended herself.
Yeah, I was just noting at the beginning of this chapter how far she's come, because in the first books, she was a lot more timid and unsure of herself in defending herself. And I was feeling very proud of her because she trips Jillian for shoving her. She slaps Kylie. She stands up to Seth all in one chapter. And I was really happy to see that. Now, Darcy makes some mistakes. I don't think she was right to sympathize with Kylie. I think that Kylie, at this point, we should know Kylie is out to get her. But I also did not feel like, is this the chapter where Seth puts his hands up, or he throws her up in the air and then doesn't let her punch him?
Yeah.
Oh, with the shield.
I don't know if I don't really blame her for not seeing that coming, because I don't know, Seth's been changing a little bit. So she's starting to trust him in a way, and I don't think it's wrong for her to start trusting him considering where the trajectory of their relationship is going. I understand some frustration with that, but I also don't think it's wrong for her to feel that way. I think I would have had the same reaction. I would have tried to punch him and then also been caught in the face. And everyone else agreed that it was lame of him. So I don't know. I was frustrated with her with Kylie, but the rest of it, I was proud of her.
But we hear her talk about how much she doesn't trust Seth and how much he's done to her and stuff. Like, she has the same verbiage in her head about Seth that Tori does about Darius. But yet she still keeps giving him openings.
And Tori continues to trust Darius, despite the things that she says.
It's Tori and it's not Darcy.
I'm just saying it's unfair to not hold them to the same standard.
Well, yes, but did we hold Tori to a different standard when she kept saying that and doing something different?
I don't feel like I did.
Like, it was getting annoying. Well, I felt like we were getting annoyed with Tori when she was, I can't trust him, and yet she was...
It's disappointing.
Having sex with them.
I mean, I was annoyed
for
with
both
her.
of them.
I was annoyed with her, and I'm annoyed with Darcy in this chapter too, but I'm just saying, in this situation, and I knew that Tori, when we were talking in the past books about Tori's annoying behavior, I gave her, the ease. I was like, it's the shadows. She's going to come around to it. She's got outside forces that are acting upon her. So I always, gave Tori a little bit of that, even if she was being annoying. But
my main frustration with Tori, as I've stated before, is always been her inability to take responsibility for her own actions. You say you're not going to trust, and then you do, and then you blame Darius for convincing you that you could trust him again. kind of thing.
But isn't that, I mean, Darcy doesn't take responsibility for hers ever.
She does. She says, I shouldn't have trusted him. That was my bad. And you know what? I don't want a free punch. I want to, earn it.
Yeah.
Chrissy wants to punch you.
I'm trying to be fair, damn it.
But yeah, no, I mean, we'll talk more about that, later at the end of this section, where there are some times when Darcy does start blaming others. And
I mean, you already
same
know.
thing.
My thoughts on her is going to be colored because I just don't like her. So she's not going to get away with anything. Even Seth, I started to get in this book where I was like, he would do something to her and I was like, me?
That's so messed up, but I get it.
I mean, a couple of episodes ago, you were like, there's nothing he can do. And I was like, just
right? Darcy's going to piss you off more.
Little did we know.
Man. Okay. Yeah. All right. So they're learning dream interpretations in tarot class. What did y'all think about Kylie's dream that she shared?
I assumed it had something to do with the way she felt about Seth, as everything does for her character. I ignored it because she's unimportant to me.
I was the opposite.
Uh-huh.
I wondered though for Kylie's if maybe she was working with Lionel because the way that it made it sound was almost like there was something much bigger than her that she was getting involved in, and she maybe realizes it's a mistake. I don't know. Okay, is she going to be a character that ends up helping them in the end? Somehow we're going to end up liking her.
Not to jump forward, but I think Kylie is the one that turned them in. So that's just my theory. Just saying. So,
but past that, maybe she's good.
I don't know.
Like at the very end, because those characters in other books you hate, they're horrible, they're terrible, and then they do something wildly selfless at the end that saves everybody.
There is a character in this book that will take that path.
Okay. Marguerite.
I mean, can you see Tori being okay with Marguerite?
Honestly, I feel like that Tori, for as angry and as reactive as she gets, I think in the moment of something truly monumental, I think she will use anything to her advantage in a good way. So I don't think that she would let her own feelings stand in the way if it was really a moment that counted.
And if Kylie is the one that turned them in, do you think Darcy, no matter what Kylie did, do you think Darcy's gonna forgive that?
I don't know. She kind of forgave her in this moment.
Yeah, I think she's kind of fickle, so yeah.
Fickle. Okay. Hey, just trusting. Maybe just trusting. Oh my God.
What about Darcy's dream?
I thought that maybe the five wolves was the heirs and Orion, symbolizing her fear of them and how she believed that they were bad, but they're actually allies. Something like that. I didn't, I just immediately assumed that they were the people in her life. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I was kind of not. I think I was more interested in Kylie's. Like, I felt like there was more suspense to hers of foreshadowing and, I don't know, something that's going to come back later.
The way I ignored hers completely.
So I'm pretty sure that Tyler has some of the best lines in this series.
Oh my God.
And
He does.
here we have wonderfulness with Tyler and his insert here to make me howl.
Fantastic.
I about died laughing.
And then, who was it? Was he the one that says the girl wearing the horse badge?
Yeah. Yeah, he does.
He's
And then
great.
later on, he commentates that the fight between Mildred and Tori.
Not the tits.
Not the tits.
Okay, yeah, and I feel like going back to Harry Potter that he is like the commentator, Lee Jordan.
Lee Jordan. Yeah.
Oh, why did I say
For
Dean
the Quidditch
Thomas?
matches?
Yeah, not Dean Thomas. That's
That-
what's her name's boyfriend in the books.
Yeah.
Jenny's boyfriend for a while. Yeah, Lee Thomas. You're right.
But yeah, Lee Jordan.
Lee Jordan.
Yeah. But you remember that kid? Because then McGonagall
Yeah,
was like,
the Quidditch announcer.
be quiet. Yes.
They had a very distinctive voice that when I was growing up, I was like, is that a girl or a guy?
Lee
For
Jordan.
Harry Potter.
Really?
Lee Jordan.
Really?
In the movies.
Never thought about
At
it.
least that was,
Yeah.
it sounded like to me, it could be either way. Because you know how some prepubescent boys have higher voices. And so
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know. And Lee could be a girl's name, guy's name.
Well, he always cracks me up. So he reminds me a little bit of Tyler.
I think that fits, especially with him always commentating everything.
For real.
So Darcy gets some text while interpreting the dreams with Kylie, and Kylie calls her out. And so this prompts Darcy to change Orion's name on her atlas to Starboy. And for some odd reason, I thought it had to have something to do with the lyrics, and it's probably something she should have done a long time ago, and she's supposed to be deleting these messages. But what the fuck is up with Starboy? I don't get it. It makes no sense to me. I mean, Starboy as in like stars, but I just felt it was dumb and meaningless.
Maybe because his name is after a constellation.
I felt the same way. I felt like, again, the stupidity. If you're going to truly make it where somebody can't figure it out, make it like Michael Smith, give
Will
an
Smith.
actual name on there that you don't
What if she had named him
even think of.
Tyler?
See, that would be perfect. That would be perfect because then she wouldn't have even messed around with,
That would have been
stealing.
perfect.
But because she named him Starboy blatantly,
Well,
that's a secret.
I feel like they would have been caught regardless. But
Oh yeah.
yeah.
I was not that I'm glad they're caught, and I don't want Orion to go through with whatever he's about to go through. But there was also a stressful part that I'm just glad it's done. It's over. We can start working our way through that part of it because you knew they were going to get caught at some point.
Yeah, you don't bring something up that many times and not expect it to happen.
Oh yeah.
All right, and so we kind of already covered the acrobatic competition that they had. So Seth and Max are planning their upcoming 20th birthday party, and they're not exactly agreeing on the details.
Because Seth is a selfish child.
And I will say, like, my best friend and I growing up, her birthday was 3 days before mine, and so we always had our birthday parties together. And to be fair to one of them, I think Max, it was always more about her than it was about me, even though it was mostly at my house. But I just got to say, joint parties are hard. And I don't know. I get why, like, we had our birthday parties together because why ask? We had the same friends. We can't exactly ask them to come to two different parties. What if we wanted our birthday parties on the same day? They'd have to choose between us. So it was just like better for us. But it was also always more about her than it was about me. And in fact, I didn't have any birthday parties after we stopped having them together.
That sucks.
Yeah, it was. I went to school in Effingham and I lived in Chatham, so it was really hard for the new friends that I made in Effingham to come to my birthday party. So, but yeah, joint parties are hard.
I don't think I've ever
Y'all
had a
have any
joint
thoughts?
party. But I didn't have a lot of friends past the age of 6. I had like one friend and her birthday was on Halloween, so we did her party separately from mine.
Yeah, I love the scenes with the heirs right now. Those are my favorite scenes.
They're very fun. They are right now.
Yeah. And might I point out how supportive Darius is of Tory with his boys. And that was my kind of like, okay, let's see if he's really changed. Then he'll do it in front of them too. So
He is trying really hard.
yeah. Oh my gosh, yes.
If only
yes.
Tori could see it.
I think that's why I'm getting frustrated because I feel like he is doing his part.
Yeah.
And Lily, you made a comment about their star signs.
Oh, it's not really that important, but I was just thinking, I forgot that Seth is an Aquarius because he's air and Max is a Pisces. I always think that Seth is a water sign because he's so emotional and such a baby. And I don't know why I always assume he's a water sign. That's not always the case for water signs. But the fact that he's an Aquarius both makes sense and doesn't make sense because Aquarius they want to go against the grain typically. They want to stand out. They want to be very different. But they also are known for being a humanitarian sign. And so, like, the greater good sign. And so it doesn't
He's clearly not
really
that.
make sense for Seth, but I also get it. Anyways, it was just an observation.
And I love that they go from it's going to be a whores only party to I guess we can invite, the ass brigade maybe.
Of course. Max is not going to let the ass brigade not
No way.
be there.
Yeah.
Come on.
Also, I think it's hilarious that they think that the ass brigade would be all like, "Well, we didn't get invited."
They are still thinking very highly of themselves. Let's just say that.
Until Tori eats Seth's Oreos. Now, why are they not named Foreos or something?
Fabrio.
Yeah, Farios. I don't know.
That part was awesome.
That was so. I love that. It's Caleb that texts her, right? And he's like, "Hey, where are you?" And she immediately responds and's like, I'm busy, but if you have sex.
Yeah.
I love their friendship.
Oh, yeah.
And I will say, her eating Seth's Oreos might come back to bite her later.
No.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask, because
Oh.
you said she's going to sadly regret that. And I was like, eating the Oreos or?
Classic Seth.
Oh my God.
Let's just say Seth takes it as a game, a friendly game.
Is he going to like eat her food?
Oh, I'm sure he is.
Yeah.
Oh my
Again,
God.
the Aquarius sign. Anyway, they are known for being friends to everyone, though. I will say that. And then Geraldine
All
giving
right.
into their plans. Even the twins were like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, I love how she's like, of course we don't want to go to your party. And then he's like, but those plans. And he's just like, oh, well, I guess we could do it. It's
We don't
fine.
have anything better to do. And the twins are like, "What? Yes, we do."
Anything is better than that. Oh, come on.
Anyways,
And they make a star promise not to be assholes.
very nice.
But I like Lily's question, like what happens if they break that promise?
7 years of bad luck.
7 years of bad luck.
Yeah,
Mm.
sort of bad luck. It's literally 7 years of the stars putting bad luck on them. Everything that they want to do will go wrong.
Oh,
Ooh, and that would be bad for Tori and them too, because if they end up on their side and they have bad luck,
uh-huh.
they could put them with Lionel though.
Somebody's about to break their star promise, by the way.
Oh God, no way.
There's
Which-
been several made.
Okay, list all the star promises made.
I bet it's Tori,
So,
the one to
So
cut
they
away.
made it-
Darcy.
yeah. They made Tori made a star promise with Caleb to not be assholes. Tori made a star promise with Catalina not to reveal to anybody that she freed her from dark coercion.
That's what I'm thinking.
I think Darcy and Orion made a star deal to do whatever it takes to stay together.
I bet that's the one that breaks. 'Cause
You think
she was
that's
all,
the one?
Well, she was all like, oh, I think they make a star deal. It was very, yeah.
I'm trying to remember. There's so many. They made a star deal with Diego for Diego never to share a memory or
Oh, it's gotta be Diego then.
any information about Tory and Darcy without permission.
It's
Well, I
gotta
think
be
it's
Diego.
Orion though, because Orion's going to try to protect Darcy by breaking his star promise, because that's to try to be together no matter what. But
So you think he's gonna try and break up with her on her behalf?
to protect her? Yeah, to protect her, not for bad, but to try to be. Well, I mean, the character that we know that he is.
See, I was thinking the promise between Tori and Catalina is probably the easiest to break by accident. So that's why I was thinking it could be that one. Either that one or the Diego one, because those involve not sharing secrets, right? So I just assumed it's really easy to get in situations where you have to reveal things or where you can reveal things on accident. So I was like, it has to be either Tori or Diego is what I would think. Because those could be revealed by accident or you could be put in a situation. I don't know.
Only reason that I thought that one, that when she got real cagey about it, and when she said instead of the
There were
star
so many.
promise, she was
I'm
like
trying to
star
remember.
deal. She tried to
I
make it
don't
sound
think-
inconsequential.
I don't think
And
you're
then
wrong.
I was like,
I think that's
that
a
one.
smart. I think your theory is smart about Orion.
Okay, so no,
'Cause
there were so many star promises. I'm sure I've missed like 15 of them.
Yes,
I
but you
think-
wouldn't miss the one that you know is broken.
Well, I'm trying to remember them all.
We'll see. We'll see. I really hope you're wrong. I don't want Orion and Darcy to have 7 years of bad luck. Wait, did Darius make
yeah.
one? Did he make any star promises?
They were just short-term ones, weren't they? Like being nice at a party or whatever.
Yeah.
Look at her, she's not going to answer now.
I'm trying to think back of all the star promises that have been made so far. But okay, so let's talk about Caleb and Seth for a minute. I know, Lily, you are very hardcore Caleb right now, so
Yes.
this chapter really kind of starts to be like, maybe you're right.
And I am trying not to say I told you so, but I just want to say I felt it in the wind and I told you so. Well, at first it was kind of a joke, and then I was like, no, this is really happening. I was like, oh, I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it get more and more. And then we get these chapters where it's like, more is happening.
I'm worried. I'm worried for Caleb. I feel like he is being set up as this incredible, amazing, wonderful character, and he's going to end up being the Danica of this book.
Danica?
Yeah.
She's worried he's gonna die.
Yeah, I'm worried he's going to die.
I think he's in game, baby. I think he's lasting till the end.
Really?
Why do you think he's gonna die?
I'm so worried because he's being set up as this just incredible character. He's so supportive of everybody. He is a friend to everyone. He does the right thing most of the time. And I don't know. I feel like he's going to be one of those characters that's going to break your heart when they die.
Want a spoiler? Not a spoiler teaser, not an actual spoiler.
I'll let Lily say
Sure,
yes or no
yeah.
on this one.
At least one of the heirs will die.
Damn it, it's Caleb. Fuck. You know it's going to be him.
I don't think it's Caleb.
Sorry.
Well, you know Max isn't going to die because Jerry will throw herself over him and protect him. And Seth just can't die.
Seth can't die. I have my theories.
He's like a roach.
I never said Jerry makes it through either.
Oh, she does. She does. I think you would have too many people. Like, it would have been the fandom out there would have gone fucking nuts if something happened to her by now. I mean, even for people that don't read the
Okay,
book
I
would
have theories.
heard of her.
I have theories.
Okay.
But I will not reveal them because I don't want to be wrong.
Well, don't say you have theories then. Give us your theories.
Nope.
I want to know. I want to know.
Yes, you must.
Okay. I think it's either Seth in a crazy last minute I'm doing something for someone else die kind of sacrifice, or Darius. I think it's gonna be Darius.
I think it's gonna be Darius.
I think he's gonna die, and in the same kind of situation where he's like doing something to save Tori or doing something on her behalf, and they'll bring him back or something will happen, and that will give him the second chance.
For the divine moment.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good theory.
As far as we know, nobody's ever been resurrected before.
As
Orion
far
was
as we know.
resurrected.
Sort of. I mean,
He died.
his heart did stop, but that's like CPR.
For the listeners out there, I'm making a face.
Oh, wait. Let me see the face because I have the notes up. Make the face. Okay.
It's a
Okay.
shut up, Brittany.
It's a okay.
I don't believe you.
Sure,
Just shut up.
Brittany.
That actually sounds good. That would make sense.
I think it's one of those.
Okay, let me ask you for clarification. Is it only one of the heirs that dies?
I said
Or
at least
could
one.
more?
At least
I said at least one.
At least. At least. See, it's the verbiage. I swear to God, it's like CSI up in here.
She's a sneaky little one.
She is, yes.
I don't think Caleb's gonna die though.
So let's get back to Seth and Caleb.
Yes.
And their budding romance. I love that Caleb is totally very much just on, oh, he just flopped into my crotch and he's flirting with me and
And Caleb's like, why do I kind of like it? He doesn't really hate it. He's like, okay.
it's like, oh, he's probably just being himself.
Which is odd for a vampire because they're not touchy-feely, and yet Seth is the one that... So, Elysian mates, maybe?
And in my notes, I go from this chapter of being like, it's so funny to know that I'm right. They're going to be lovers. Oh, I just see it coming. And then to the end of this section, I'm like, oh my God. So
With the lottery tickets?
Oh, the lottery
That's what I'm
tickets?
saying.
Oh, yeah.
Caleb
yeah.
is such an amazing character. Oh.
I love
think-
what you wrote.
Yeah, I don't think that's because he's an amazing guy. I think that man is whipped. I think that man loves Seth.
You know what, though? This is what I love about Caleb. I think even if it was somebody he wasn't that close to, but he knew it meant that much to him, I think he would still do the same thing. It means more with Seth, because I do think it is definitely something
Seth is
more.
his best friend.
He is, but I think Caleb's just that good of a person that if it was like Xavier,
That he
do it
would
for.
spend money on 300,000 tickets
Every
a year for
single
4 years.
year. Every single
doesn't even tell
year.
him.
And he does it out of something that might not happen. It's a gamble every single time.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah.
love. That is not good friendship. If that was good friendship, you give up like by year 1 or 2. No, that's love.
I think it is love with Seth. But my point is, I think Caleb would also do that for somebody else out of friendship. But I think for Seth, it is truly love that he does it. But I think Caleb was just that amazing of a character that he would do that
I don't know.
because he's awesome.
I think it's funny. We learn here that no wolf has ever been to the moon. And so Seth will be the first. And one of the reasons why he wanted to go to the moon is so that he can stick his dick in a crater.
Of course.
I must have
Of
missed that
course he
part.
does.
So he
How did I
can
miss
fuck
that
the
part?
moon.
Of course
Oh my
he does. Also, why did it take me so long to realize that why he wanted to go to the moon is because he's a wolf? Like, I didn't realize that until the end of the chapter. I don't know why. Oh, man.
But
Does
yeah,
it ever explain why they're such assholes about is it like a power thing or?
I think that one person is the only one who can transport people to the moon. So he just, everything about this world is power. So it's probably a power thing.
Yeah, but money, Seth tried to bribe him.
I know, but think about it. Caleb's been spending however much money for 300,000 tickets for 4 years. I'm pretty sure he's set.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's not like it cost him anything. Well, probably, if his power is to just transport people to the moon.
Yeah.
Do we get to see that scene where he goes to the moon?
There is a novella, but I refuse.
The novella of Seth sticks his dick in the moon. Okay.
Okay, so after he comes back from the moon, literally he will go around going, did I ever tell you about this time when I was on the moon and everybody's like, shut up, we've heard it, leave us alone.
This time at band camp?
Yeah. And it gets to the point where like I don't even need to read that novella because I already listened to it all.
That's great. That's great.
Oh my God.
I'm just as fed up about it as your actual friends are. But yeah, there is a novella called Seth on the Moon in which he does actually fuck the moon.
Oh my God.
Anyway, so they now know that Darius is more powerful than the others and they still stand by him. So how do you think this is going to affect their relationship?
I think at this point they've proven that their relationship could be tested, and I think they're going to stand by him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That went down wrong. Say that again. What did you say?
Oh, they're going to stand by him. Yeah. I love this one.
What if Lionel becomes king and that would make Darius a prince? Do you think that he'll still share the throne once Lionel dies, if he ever does?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think they know that.
Say that again.
I think they know that. I think they know he would say, but actually, I think he would fight against Lionel.
Yeah. I don't think he would ever. Darius, up to this point, has fought for the four of them to take their positions together. I don't see Darius trying to be a prince or something.
Which also confounds me as to why he's like, no, the twins can't also be counselors.
Yeah.
He's willing to share with the other three boys, but not the girls.
Yeah.
So after Darius leaves, they put this plan into place to get Tory and Darius to fall in love while Orion researches a way to break their curse. Max's plan is to get Geraldine to convince Tory. Caleb's plan was to find a loophole around the stars and have them still be together. And Seth wants Darius to make these grand gestures. And so everything that he has suggested so far has been denied. This is another star promise that has been made in the series, is that all the heirs have to do whatever they can to get Tory and Darius back together.
I forgot about that one.
So one of the things that he suggested was oiling himself up and putting on a strip show for Tory.
I feel like that was kind of tongue-in-cheek.
I think he meant that.
I mean, think about what he did for Darcy when he made that video. He did a strip show.
Funny. But that was funny. But that was also a very important message at the end of it that gave her a little bit of power. She just had to watch the rest of it.
We get some hints about what Seth is planning, but what do y'all think?
We got hints?
Mm-hmm. During
about what Seth or what Caleb? Because Caleb's the one that comes up with
about Seth's plan.
I can't remember off the top of my
head.
head.
Either.
The hints are in the chapter with Rosalie when they're doing that Truth or Dare game.
I remember him talking about it. Because is that where he says, alcohol makes me extra cunning, and then he comes up with something really dumb?
Yes.
Oh, Seth.
But I wrote it down here where he's like, he shot down literally everything I'd suggested so far, from serenades to candlelit picnics and trips to the polar capitals, see the northern lights. Seth apparently thinks that Darius has zero game. Um, but what do y'all
yeah.
what do y'all think this plan might be forming in
So
his
he's
head?
gonna set Darius on Tori's ex that left her in that river or the lake or whatever. They crashed in a car into a body of water, and then that guy left her there, and she almost drowned or whatever. He was saying that they both love violence, and then he talked about how he asked Tori who she hated the most in life, and before coming to Zodiac Academy, and she said probably my ex. And I'm assuming Seth is gonna be like, Darius, you have to go beat up her ex.
He's in the mortal world, though. Is he going to be able to find him?
Yes.
If Orion
I think
can
he'll be able to
find
find
them,
him, but
then
yeah.
they can find him.
But if you remember correctly, Orion says that he had a device that detected their magic in order to find them.
Maybe Tori will go with him.
Or Darcy will help.
Oh, yeah.
Darcy, yeah. What's his name? Zane?
Yeah. God, I'm so tired of Z names in books. It's so stupid. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I hate the Zayden, Zayd,
So,
whatever.
Zayden is an X, so
I will allow the X's. I will allow the X's. I'm just so tired
Xavier.
of everyone making the male love interest that's kind of edgy with a Z or something like that. I just think it's what's the word? Tacky. I think it's a tacky name. It is.
I hope we don't have any listeners with Z
Yeah.
names.
Yeah. We're gonna start a
No,
debate. No talk.
it is
no
not-
bad mouthing my Zayden.
It is not any listeners. It's not any listeners with a Z name. Z names are fine. It's the whole edgy bad boy name. It's like Zayd or I don't know. There's a lot of them out there that I think are stupid.
So if they made the nerd with the Z name, would that be good? Would that be okay?
Yes, that'd be better. Yes, that would be better because it's so stupid. It's like the only way they can write an edgy male name is to give him a weird, I don't know, XZ name or something like that. Like, come on. And yes, Zayden is one of those.
Nope.
Uh-oh.
Sorry. Nope. Zayden is in a class of his own.
I like Zayden. I just think his name is dumb.
I love his name. Sorry.
Just saying.
If I were open to having kids, I might name my kid
No,
Zayden just for him.
you won't. No, you won't because we're friends and I won't allow you to do that. No. That
I decided in kindergarten I wasn't having kids, so there's no chance of that. But if I were open to
even
it,
if the hypothetical Brittany baby exists, his name is not Zayden.
are you sure? I am hung up.
Anyways.
All right, so what did y'all think about the party? I know at the beginning of this chapter, Seth is out running with his pack, and you had a question about, or an observation about his pack, about the fact that they took him in.
It just seemed a little odd to me, and I don't know how the whole pack rules work. But just like we see with Milton and Darius, I mean, one even hint of not being loyal, and Darius was like, "You're done forever. I will, anybody that talks to you is done with me." And yet for Seth, his pack repeatedly treats him like shit and excludes him, and the other guy is trying to take over from him and laughing at him and all sorts of stuff, and yet he takes them all back. Although I started making that comment before it got to the part with Maurice that he makes them stand outside while they're having sex, which I was like, oh, okay, there we go. But wouldn't that be a little hard to have that trust, or is for the pack thing, is it different?
I think for the pack thing, it is like the Pegasus. They have to have a herd. Mm-hmm. He has to have a pack.
He couldn't replace his pack and say...
Yes and no. He could go up to another pack because there are more than one pack in this school. He could go up to another pack and take. But this is the pack that lives in his house so that it's easy.
Yeah.
And they are a temporary pack. Once they graduate from Zodiac, they're going to go join their own little family packs and whatever. So it's more about the comfort and the need rather than the trust, I think.
Okay, so they end up as part of, like, their true pack is their family and not...
Or whatever pack takes them in. They could leave their family. But most of the ones that I've seen so far are family-centered.
Okay, that's interesting.
What did y'all think about the party?
Wait, just real quick, I don't know why, but up to this point, I thought Maurice was a girl. I don't know why. I thought that previously whoever was trying to take over the pack was a girl, and I guess I was just mistaken, but I don't know.
Interesting.
This whole time I
Okay.
thought it
I
was
mean,
a
I know,
girl.
but there were several girls though that were really shitty to him and said that they weren't
Yeah.
coming back to
Maybe
him.
that's why.
But I think it was the
I think
guy that was,
Alice was one of them, wasn't
yeah,
she? Yeah.
there were several of them that I was like, oh, that's really.
Yeah. Anyways, the party. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're fine. Your thoughts on the party?
All I could think about was that the Rosalie girl, I was just like waiting for her to leave because Seth and Caleb couldn't have their moment. I was like, okay, can she just get out of the way, please?
That's the pitball party. She wasn't, or pitball after party. Wasn't at the birthday party. Sorry.
Oh, let me remember the birthday party then.
I think, well, my part of that was frustrating was Seth. He was desperately trying to get to Darcy to talk to her, and I thought it was going to be something good, and then literally it was, "Don't hate me."
Like Orion, he's never
Stop
apologized
building
before.
stuff up. But he has technically apologized, but then fucks her over 2 minutes later.
What do you mean by he fucks her over?
Well, I mean, remember, like right before he cut her hair off, he was like, "I want you to like me. I want us to be friends. Don't hate me." And then he ends up cutting her hair off. So he repeatedly goes back and forth.
Sorry.
What?
I looked down and I saw maybe a 3 on the Seth Fuckometer.
Yeah.
Fuckometer.
Well, okay, so that was my, again, not being fair to Darcy, and I get it, but it is what it is. And I said, although it's because he's using that excuse of his upbringing as to why he's such an ass, and it does get frustrating because other of the heirs have been through so much worse, and they're making better choices.
We don't know his background yet, except for the fact that he got thrown in a cave
Mommy
at 5.
blatantly loves him, though. I think his mom is one of the ones that I think I like. I think she could turn out to be evil, but I think I like her. But at the same time, this was to Darcy, so I was only mildly irritated, and I said it was maybe a 3 on the Seth fucker-o-meter.
And
Sorry.
No, you go
Okay,
ahead.
cut out what I said earlier about Rosalie or whatever. I agree with Christy. I think that the reasons he gave were not good enough. And like Christy says, I think the rest of them grew up also difficult, and they were not complete assholes all the time. I mean, I personally think a good example is Darius and Max. I don't know. Both of them had really shitty situations, and they have done what they can to not be assholes at this point. I think he could figure something out. I don't know, like a better apology.
Surprise, like, I know I've mentioned this before, but Max has done some really shitty things. It's just that he's not been the focus of the chapters, and y'all don't seem to hate him as much.
I don't feel like it's hit the same level as Seth and
Yeah.
the same repeated behavior as Seth. And I feel like in his chapters, there seems to be more self-reflection
Exactly.
than in Seth.
Though at the same time, like, Max was the one who stole their fears. He helped ice over the pool and
Mhm.
held her down
Mhm.
underneath. He put the potion in Tori's drink and was okay with however far they need to go. They need, he said it over and over again, like, I don't care what we have to do. We're just going to do it. He doesn't seem to care out in public, just the way that you said it bothered you about Darius. I'm just wondering why Max is getting off easy.
I don't think Max is getting off easy. I think, and maybe I'm just speaking for me, perhaps until Jerry came into the picture, he was just inconsequential.
Though he participated, he just didn't get the spotlight.
For me, I think the difference is that consistently throughout the books, he has shown remorse, and he can reflect on his actions and then recognize when they were bad and
Yes.
call himself out. The other heirs don't do that. It usually takes other actions for them to come to that. Seth definitely doesn't do that unless there's really bad consequences. And then Darius, we've talked about how back and forth he will feel bad, but then continue to act that way. And the difference for me is Max, if he continues to act that way, he at least holds himself accountable in a way that they don't seem to do in that moment. For example, whenever he punches Caleb and he's like, I fucked up with Darius. I take that into account. I shouldn't have done that. And I agree, he has done some pretty shitty things. But even later, he's like, when someone makes a comment about them going to a party and they're like, well, we don't want our drinks to be roofied again or whatever, poisoned. And Max is like, actually, that was me. He takes, I don't know, responsibility for it in a weird way. I don't know. I do think that he's obviously still done bad things, but he is different.
Get that, and I get that point of view. It always seems to be taking actions where the boys are concerned. He fully believes that the way he's treated Tory and Darcy is what's right because they have to do it for Solaria, the same excuses that Darius has told himself. And I always read the taking responsibility for the potion as like I'm supposed to get Tori to like Darius again. So
It is,
Like he
but
was taking.
it is, but then in context with him doing it elsewhere, that's how I see it. Is he also takes responsibility when it's not in front of the girls. So he just has something about him that he's more willing to be human in a way. I don't know.
Yes.
that's my point. Like, I don't understand what you mean he's taking responsibility not in front of the girls, because I don't remember him ever saying what we did to the girls is wrong. He does say, I should have realized, because I felt the bond between Darius and Tori, that was what that was. But it wasn't until he realized who Tori was that he ever mentioned anything about feeling guilty about what he did.
I think though, with Seth, one of the issues I have with him is there seems to be, regardless of who it's towards, no true recognition or accountability for things he does wrong. So even when he fucks up with the other heirs, it seems to be more in a way of like, he, just don't take it personally. I'm sorry if you took it the wrong way. That, that like that kind of non-apology
I
apology. And that seems to be
get
how he
that.
does. Like there doesn't ever seem to be a serious, like, hey, I really fucked up with this. I'm sorry, kind of thing. And it's a vibe because there could be examples where he did it, but his overall vibe just seems to be that he doesn't take anything seriously.
I get that. And I'm not saying that y'all shouldn't hold them responsible. I feel like Max is
Getting off easy.
getting off easy.
I'm not saying that he's absolved of his sins. I'm just saying that he seems more human than the rest of them sometimes. Even in his POV, whenever he was convincing Darius that he needed, like when he was doing the ignoring of Darius's feelings, I feel like even there, he kind of feels bad about it. Like you can tell that he's not really happy to do it, but he does it because he feels like it's the right thing to do. I don't know. I'm not making excuses for him per se, but I don't know. He's just different.
I get why you would feel like that in some sense. Not so much because I know how I feel about Seth versus Max, but I think that's the way maybe I felt about Darcy and Tori, as far as I felt Darcy was getting a pass. And I think some of it is either in how we read it. Some of it could be because you know the eventual outcome. And so maybe you have additional information we don't.
Also, I think she just wants to push me.
All right, so
No, I didn't hold Max accountable the first time I read it either, and I just listening to y'all talk about how much you hate Seth and how much,
Might I
Darius
say,
needs to
I didn't hate Seth for a really long time,
I know.
even though he was
and I
doing
have actually
shitty
been
things.
right. And I've been very kind to him in this
I kept
one.
saying he was
I just
entertaining. I was like, he's just so entertaining. I don't care.
And granted, we barely talked about Max until he started with Jerry.
Mhm.
And I find it interesting how even though he participated and even though I've noticed this more and more on multiple reads, how he is the one pushing it and he gets none of the blame.
I feel like Max is still a little bit, and I know I said this before, and maybe not quite to the extent I thought before, but a little bit of a follower, sort of.
You've said that
In the
before.
sense that it's almost like he is a supportive player. Okay, you want this, then we're going to go all out for this kind of thing, and not so much that he's doing it for himself. I don't know. That may not make sense.
Might I note that Pisces tend to be very manipulative? Just saying that Pisces are known for being very manipulative. I can say that. I have a Pisces moon, if anyone's wondering. But they're known for being the innocent one. So maybe we're getting some of that.
I have some Pisces in me, but I don't know which one.
I don't
I think
remember
it's
your
near the
chart.
end. Yeah. All right, so let's talk about Tory and Darius. They really seem to be growing in this book. And in the first chapter, Tory doesn't bite first and ask questions later when she's asking him for Stardust. And she really thinks through her response and the conversation goes well. And then now here at the party, things get kind of interesting where she's even flirting with him a little bit.
Good for her.
Any thoughts on that?
I'm reading Lily's, and I think that's hits it exactly. If you don't understand,
Oh, yeah. In that first chapter, she pushes him and she really wants that rise from him and he's refusing.
Okay, I know.
And she's like,
Go ahead. No, finish your thought.
she was like, is it wrong of me that I want him to push back? I miss that.
I'll read my little comment here. This is what I wrote in the notes as we were talking about how, let's see what you said. You said, she's purposely trying to get a rise out of Darius. Was it completely insane for me to miss our little to and fro, like you said? And then it says, I missed how he could get me all hot and bothered with a single arrogant remark. And what do you guys think? And I said, I mean, that's her whole shtick. It always has been her thing. And he liked it too. And she's super hard-headed and basically a tsundere, which you can look that up if you don't know what that is in anime terms. It's kind of like a character who doesn't like to admit that they are fond of someone or that they care about people. It takes a long time for them to admit that, and even when they do, they're still kind of on the front, brash with them. Think if you've ever seen Fruits Baskets, like Kyo, like that kind of character. But then the people that they do open up to, they're very caring and vulnerable with them. What's the matter?
My pump keeps going off and it's being ridiculous.
But yeah, I was just saying that's her thing. Of course she wants to kind of fight with him and get like a little rise out of him. It brings her so much satisfaction in their relationship. It's fun. And that's how she shows fondness in a weird way with a lot of people.
and I like the saucy message in there. If you don't understand that term, look it up.
Sorry, I didn't mean it that way. Just more like, I don't know how to explain it here. Look it up.
It's really funny.
And at the party, she's teasing him. And you had some feelings about that, Christy?
Yeah, I did feel like she was teasing him. And for the first time, maybe she saw his side a little bit. Like she's, instead of like getting out of her own thoughts, she may have looked at it from his point of view. And while she wanted his apology or him making it up to her by doing the same thing, with getting drunk and grinding on everyone and sending it to the press, when she actually sat back and she thought about what the consequences would be for Darius, like with Lionel, she actually gets serious and she's like, no, I don't want you to do that. So I felt like that was growth for her.
Yeah, I think that was good.
When Caleb reveals his loophole here, which I think is funny because I think one of y'all had brought up a threesome before with Caleb and Darius, and I was like, oh, do you really think that's gonna happen? I'm just dying.
I would like to remind you that I said absolutely they would share.
Oh my God.
I was like, you think Darius will share?
I think I was the one that was like, no, that'll never happen. And then, and honestly, I was still surprised even reading it. I was like, wow, they couldn't figure out any other way for this to work out.
To be fair, Darius took 2 shots of that inhibition loosening shot.
That's true.
So,
But I thought the same way you did, that maybe he could have watched instead. Did he
That's
really
what I
have
thought
to
too.
partake?
would it be more awkward if he just sat back and watched?
That could be somebody's kink.
He could have turned and faced the wall.
Oh, man.
But I mean, this is some of the readers' favorite scene. Obviously, you get Caleb, you get Darius, and Tory. I think people have been waiting for this scene from the beginning. And I mean, he has to give her the magic suppressing bands that they got from the fair.
Mm-hmm.
He's present, so they're not alone. He blindfolds her and he takes her to the amplifying chamber in order to hide them from the stars in order for this to happen. Pretty sure she enjoys it.
I'm pretty sure she enjoyed it too.
I was a little surprised that Caleb had to partake, but,
So, I mean, Caleb's had threesomes before.
with Seth.
Let me tell you, it won't be the only threesome in this book.
Although apparently it was Seth and Caleb and whoever else.
In this book?
In the series, I think.
Okay. I was like, wow.
Sorry.
I remember with Seth, he said that the threesomes weren't always 3 with him and Caleb, that it was just the 2 of them. for some of that.
I was just shocked that they couldn't find another way, you know?
Yeah.
Did you not enjoy the threesome?
I did not enjoy the threesome.
So are you one of those people who were like, darn, I didn't get a threesome with Cassian and Azriel?
Not really.
Yeah, me neither.
There are some, it's not that I'm against threesomes, but as we have discussed, I am just like a territorial kind of protective kind of person. And since I already didn't like that Caleb and Tori were together in general that much, I wasn't thrilled about them having a threesome. I'm not really against it, just kind of didn't do anything for me.
If they were to end up in a polyamorous relationship, then you would be okay?
No.
Your face!
No, I don't want that. That's not what I mean at all.
I think perhaps a threesome took away from the epic potential if it was just the two of them.
I mean, that's the whole point. It can't be just the two of them right now because the stars are being bastards.
Caleb could lean him and just touch him.
Yeah, I feel like they could have figured something out that wasn't a threesome.
All right. Any thoughts about the pitball match? I know that y'all found it a little confusing to follow the action.
Yes. Did you want to talk about what you said about chapter 24, Christy, where you said that you were a little annoyed about Tori?
Oh, Darcy is annoying me right now, but her suggestion was fucking awesome.
Oh, I thought you were talking. And I was like, oh, good, she's annoying you too. That was mine.
No, the part above that.
So, yeah, that's in the locker room.
Yeah.
When Darius comes and gives her the ribbon to wear to cheer for her. It reminded me of like the jousting, like, here's my favor.
Yeah, I think this is where I was kind of frustrated a little bit with Tori because I feel like she's got Darius kind of in a no-win situation. And it is a valid fear that she's got. Like, she definitely has a reason to think that way, but she's got to give him a way out or a way to prove it to her. And it's kind of like the damned if you do, damned if you don't, because we also see where she's like, oh, I want our back and forth back. Okay, but that's also what you're saying scares you as well, because a lot of times, I mean, don't get me wrong, that's the part of, where he's like, oh, I'll kill you. Obviously not part of the back and forth, but still. But she's worried about, and I just feel like it's kind of one of those situations, but she's worried he's going to revert to his former self. But, and I think one of y'all pointed out that she did reject him after the setup from Caleb. But he didn't get angry. Like, there were several different things that he could have gotten angry at, that he didn't get angry, that should have been an example of. I don't know. I was kind of frustrated with the authors. I feel like they're not letting her grow. And
at the same time, I think her thought process is, it's like when a drunk comes home and beats you when they don't have control of themselves. Mm-hmm. He is trying his damnedest right now to be on his best behavior. And he is letting things go that normally he wouldn't. Yeah. And maybe she's thinking, I need to enrage him so much that he does actually lose it and see how he treats me then.
Yeah. And so I even get it. Like, first of all, again, Darcy does annoy me, but her suggestion was awesome. I really liked it. Got a lot of points for that. Jerry's fucking story about Angelica. That was hilarious. But to tell him about the gold, I wish she'd have done it a little differently. I felt like if she'd have just told him instead of doing it, and I know she's trying to just do everything, be completely antagonistic to him to really see if she can get him to explode. But I wish she'd have just straight up told him, because I think the old him would have exploded anyways, even if she had calmly told him.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I felt like she was.
Can I also point out that when Washer came into the girls' locker room, we were like, oh, how dare he? And then Darius is like that. And then Geraldine's like, somebody has their petunia out and you're just... and none of us are like, no, he shouldn't have done that.
It's funny.
I guess because we know that he only has eyes for Tori. So,
yeah.
And Washer's like... Ooh.
Yeah, Washer's just gross.
Yeah.
Or Professor Pervert, as I'd like to call him.
Yes.
All right. So about the actual match itself.
Yeah, I did have a hard time following it a little bit. I don't actually know if this is an issue on the author's part or if it's my issue. I just had a hard time following what was going on, but
I mean,
I
I
do
think
like
you
that we
follow
get it.
battles pretty well.
What's funny, because I see, Lily, yours that I have a hard time following for the pitball match. And
Yeah.
I think it was last week that I put that exact same thing. Like, I didn't know if it was just me, but I feel like they have made it so overly complicated that it's really hard to engage with.
Yeah, I don't know if it's me or not, but I don't know. My brain can't wrap around it really well. Or maybe when I'm at that part of the book, I kind of drift off a little bit. I don't know if I care as much about it. I'm not sure.
Oh, I put it right above yours. Okay, there. I thought
Yeah.
I did it in last week's. Yeah. No,
Hmm.
I totally agree with you. I think they've made it so complicated that it's hard to enjoy and not start skimming over.
Yeah, I feel bad, but yeah.
Though there are some moments that would be horrendous if you skipped over. Like Seth and his alpha.
Okay,
Yeah,
I just pictured him wagging his little tail.
he gets all dumbed down, like he can only speak in like one word sentences. He's like, oh my God. As if he wasn't already dumbed down a little bit.
From Jerry's victory lap topless.
Oh my God. Max.
Max is like, my parents are in the stands.
Why does she do that? What urge comes over you that you just want to rip off your bra and run around? I
mean, we
don't
could
get
ask
it.
some nudists. We can hunt down some nudist people.
I just don't get the urge. I have bountiful breasts just like Jerry, okay? And running with those babies without them stuck inside a sports bra? No.
Maybe she feels about clothes the way I feel about socks.
About socks?
Yeah,
That's the way I feel about socks. Hate socks.
Socks are the worst. But yeah, I love Max's reaction. I love that she calls them buoyant Brendas and he calls them bouncing Bettys or
Yeah, bouncy Bettys. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Okay, so this is off topic, but Seth eventually gives them all nicknames. And Geraldine's nickname is Batty Betty.
Batty Betty?
Batty Betty.
Like batty as in like, ooh, she's batty. Or like batty, like that kind of batty.
DD or TT?
B-A-T-T-Y.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. Like she's crazy.
I think Darcy, I could be wrong, but it's Fiend Dream for her. He's the wolf man.
Bean Dream?
Theme, like Phoenix.
Oh, okay. He's bad at nicknames.
Yeah,
Yes, he is.
they all hate them. So they're like, quit calling us that.
God.
I forget the others, but everybody gets a nickname.
Oh God. Or they like call signs. They're doing secret missions and they're like, all right, Fiend Dream, it's your turn.
Yeah, that's what they have a group chat eventually, and that's what he changes all their names to.
Of course, I see.
Oh my God.
I do give you guys nicknames as well. I get where he's coming from.
Yeah.
Yes, but yours are better.
I was considering changing yours, by the way, Christy.
Oh
I was
God.
considering changing yours to Tori Vega in the chat.
Why? Because I'm annoying you so much?
No. Tori doesn't annoy me to the extent that I would consider her just annoying. But no, it's because you both have a little temper. I have it right now as
What temper?
Irene.
I am so laid back. It's just not funny.
So laid back. Okay, maybe not temper, but like
Oh no, it's temper.
you're stubborn. You're very stubborn. Right now, I have you as Irene in there for a Throne of Glass, and I like that, but it just doesn't fit you. So I don't know. Just kinda-
Why? Because she's too stable.
Passive.
She gives more to Kale than you ever would. She lets him get away with way more than you ever would. But yeah, I need to change your name.
Oh, what did y'all think about Rosalie in general, including the after party? Lily, why don't you go first? Since you obviously feel some way.
I don't listen. There's nothing against Rosalie. I just think she's in the way. Okay, she is unnecessary to my plans, and thus she needs to go. If you notice, I also feel this way about other characters that are in the way of my head. Franny is one of them. I'm just a born hater, I guess. I don't really know.
What makes you think she's in the way? She
She was for a minute there.
She could be the sandwich that brings them together.
I don't need them to be a sandwich. Just like I didn't need the threesome between Darius, Caleb, and Tori. No, I didn't need that. There is, in an Oreo, there are only 2 flavors, and I think we could stick that back to Seth and Caleb. It doesn't need to be considered a sandwich of 3 parts.
Sorry. You're just like, no, she's in the way. I don't care.
She can leave.
What did you think of her in not regards to Seth and Caleb?
In not regards to them, she is a cool character, and I enjoyed her. I liked that she is really good at pitball, and she's kind of like a formidable foe in that way. And I think she would be super cool if her main part in this book was not that she is trying to fuck Caleb and Seth at the same time. I think she would be a cool character.
Your thoughts?
So I think I'm going to like her. I was wondering is it shit. Who's on the cheerleading team? The one that we really like. Is it
Bernice?
Bernice? God, I kept wanting to say Brenda. I think because of bouncing Brenda's or whatever. Any chance that Rosalie would end up with Bernice? Because that would be a really good pairing.
Spoiler? Yes, no?
Yeah, I'm good for that.
Wasn't I the one that said that Bernice needs to be a lesbian?
Mm-hmm.
I would love that.
You're okay with the spoiler?
Yeah.
She's the main character of Darkmoor Penitentiary.
Rosalie?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you guys hear that? It was loud thunder.
Mm-mm.
Oh,
Really? She's the main character of Darkmoor. That's not the one with the harem.
It is.
It is.
It's the one where she goes into Darkmoor to break out somebody. And she ends up with 4 guys. An alpha wolf, an alpha lion, a guard, and a crazy person.
I thought you said that the main girl
Who's in it?
character is a vampire.
Mm-mm. Main girl character in Ruthless Fae.
And
is
I
a
thought that
vampire.
one was the one with the harem.
They're both harems.
What?
This is the only one that's not a harem, and it's because
and
there's
that's-
so many love interest couples in this series.
and that's Gabriel's wife, not Rosalie, but the other one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, but Gabriel's situationship is that they're all mates, but in Rosalie's, they're not all mates.
It's not finished.
Oh.
So far, Rosalie has a moon mate and a sun mate, but they're not Elysian mates as far as
Okay.
we know.
Interesting. Okay.
Right. But yeah, she's one of the few characters who's in all 3 series, and she's the main character of Darkmoor.
Okay, so that's a no to Bernice then.
I guess so.
Unless she's the crazy person.
Maybe Bernice ends up in Darkmoor, and she's the one who she's going in there to break out.
No, that'd be crazy though.
I'm pretty sure I know who Bernice ends up with.
Is it Angelica?
Oh, okay, come on, just tell us.
You really want to know?
I do.
I do.
Milton.
No,
Really? Huh.
I can't handle that. No, she deserved a woman. God, that's terrible. I'm so
assuming
sorry,
she's-
Bernice.
She's definitely the driving force in that relationship then. Is he very much like a hold my purse kind of?
Yeah, I
We're
agree
going to
with
start
you.
to get his POVs eventually.
He gets
'Cause
POVs?
I feel like
He gets POVs. I'm telling you, everybody ends up with somebody. Like,
I feel like
Okay, but
she's a little bit like Jerry, right?
no.
Like Max is definitely sitting in the changing room holding the purse.
Oh, okay, that's what you mean. Okay.
Yeah.
That's funny.
maybe.
Wait, and what's
I
wrong
don't
with
know.
that? As someone with a
Nothing.
husband who is like that.
Nothing. Absolutely nothing is wrong with that. It is, in fact,
That's funny.
amazing.
That's really
But-
funny.
I mean,
And he does it
you have-
willingly.
You have to be a very
As with
secure
Travis.
man to do that. So,
I agree.
Except for I hate shopping.
agree.
but yeah, I'm pretty sure Bernice ends up with Milton.
Okay.
That blows. I wanted her to be a really strong lesbian.
I could be remembering wrong, but I'm pretty sure. Sorry. Okay, so Rosalie is Dante's niece. What do y'all think about Dante?
I love
I mean,
Dante.
I know that we got to sort of see him a little earlier, but
I made fun
I-
of his accent, but I want more of him.
I was gonna say, he's one of the very few characters who get the treatment of having to say foreign words in his speech.
Do we see more of him and Jerry together? I mean, not together, but like interacting.
Not that particularly stands out in my mind.
Okay. Because that cracked me up. I mean, he's like the big, rough mob boss kind of guy. And then here she is.
I love
bouncing
Dante.
Betties and all. And
I love Dante. But also, his wife is pretty brutal. So he's like, here's your shirt. Put it back on.
I love that.
But yeah, Dante really, really hates Lionel.
I'm hoping he's part of the group that brings them down.
Well, I mean, Dante is husband-in-laws with Gabriel. So if y'all's theory is correct about Gabriel being the brother of the twins, then wouldn't that make Dante family?
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. Love that.
Which is kind of awkward in the future if they became queens. Oh yeah, my brother-in-law is a mob boss and
Power
runs
runs
the
in the
city.
family.
Yeah.
Runs the city of Aurora, and
Not awkward at all.
It made me want to read one of those mafia romances. I'm sorry.
should just read Ruthless Fae.
No. I don't need to read another 13 book series from these people.
It's 5, I think, and it's finished.
5 isn't as bad.
Yeah, Darkmoor is 4, and the last one is supposed to come out next week, supposedly.
Oh, okay, cool.
But all right, let's go to the after party, where it starts off with a beatdown.
Oh, what a good scene. I don't know why, but it brought me so much joy.
I love that even with the Pharoids and her big old muscles, Tori still beats her ass.
Just because you got muscles doesn't mean you know how to use them.
Mm-hmm.
She thinks she's all, big and bad and whatever, and I would like to witness this in real life, please. It's good in my head, but I want to see it in real life.
Yeah, even though I think it's stupid that they have to fight over Darius, because, I don't know, I just think that's dumb, but because Mildred comes at her, she is defensive, and I think that's appropriate, and I'm glad that Tori hands her ass to her, because she should.
Mm-hmm.
Personally, I think Tori was not fighting over Darius, more so just wanting to beat her because she calls her names.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fair.
Whereas Mildredful, thinks that Tori is competition, even though she's like, Darius loves me, my snickums.
You
But
know,
does he?
imagine being that delusional.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the Truth or Dare game. Seth's song.
Oh my god.
I love that Jerry's like, no, don't ruin my song. I will kill you.
She gets angrier and angrier the more he goes on too. It is very silly.
I love that.
He says something about their tits and all kinds of stuff. I can't remember.
I love that it's the twins that were like, make him sing the song.
That was good. That was good.
And the fact that they laughed their butts off at his version too.
Yes.
I love it.
Yes.
I just love seeing them all get along, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Very true. Very true.
And I love the fact that Rosalie asked Seth to, what was it? What did she ask him about? Like the last good thing he did or something like that. And he was like, I can't tell
It's
you.
a
Like
secret,
he keeps the
yeah.
secret, even though he really likes Rosalie. I was like, points to Seth for
And even though
that.
he's playing a game, which we know Seth likes games.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
He does like games. His whole life is a game.
Yep.
I feel like it is. Yeah.
Right. And poor Milton gets some gummy bears glued to his eyebrows as he passes out.
That was such a funny image in my head. I laughed out loud at that because it's the way he says it in the book is he's like, and Milton has gummy bears glued to his eyebrows, and that might have been my fault.
Who knows? Who knows? It's fine.
Although with Jerry, when she was talking about castrating Seth and castrating his kids, and Max is like, how is he going to have kids if you castrate him?
Let him have kids first, and then.
They're funny. They're really funny together.
Mm-hmm.
But also, he could have his sperm frozen, right? Who knows?
Well, he would have to
Again-
know beforehand it was going to happen.
Again with the logic. We're going too far.
I mean, if Caleb ever happens, he's got to have kids, right? So that he can have his seat on the council.
I guess.
Think they're ever going to give up power, even just to be together? Which, by the way, they're not allowed to be together the same way Tory and Caleb were not allowed to be together, so...
I think concessions will be made whenever the twins take power.
And here's something that you noted, that Caleb takes care of Mildred after Tory knocks her out.
I just thought the way he did it. I mean, yeah, he did it for Darius, but the extra care, it was like, okay, she's still a human or whatever. I mean, Faye, she's still a living being. I will treat her as such. There's not the vindictive gummy bear gluing that Seth might, put on her. there's some, I mean, really, and it's funny because you can probably name off quite a few, but other than really Lionel, is there really anyone that Caleb truly hates?
For a hot minute there, I think he really hated the twins for the Pegasus thing.
He was so mad. It hurt.
For like a week.
But yeah, but I don't know if there's really anybody that he truly just hates. Like those people that they can just, like, they don't hold grudges. And I think he really tried to with the twins, but we saw how long that lasted.
I don't know. I think that he could really feel that way about people who hurt friends. So like Lionel or Clara.
Other than Lionel and Clara, I can't think of anybody.
Yeah.
He's a good guy.
Yeah.
Though I'm going to warn you, there is something that's going to happen soon that's going to probably maybe upset you.
He's going to die?
He's not going to die. He's going to betray someone. Oh! It sounds like he's going to do something bad.
It's okay. There has to be a good reason. There's a good reason.
There has to be a good reason.
And I'm there for him. I'm there.
You know who else is a ride or die? Christy.
Yeah. As you pointed out, this is her first book boyfriend.
It definitely is.
Her Zayden.
Her
Cassian. Her Reese. Yeah.
He just, it just impresses me. Because there are real people like that too that just, I don't know, like how with all the other shit that goes on in the world, you love people regardless. And it just amazes me. I think it's amazing. And just, I don't know. I love how they wrote him. Great job, authors. Now stop fucking up Darcy.
Okay, so there's also, I forgot to mention, the jewelry that Darius lets Tory keep, which is a major deal for dragons to give up jewelry.
Yeah.
Because it's their treasure. They're very possessive over it.
In a way, he's giving up power. He's giving up a power source.
I never looked at it that way, but yes.
That should be considered like full submission at that point. Like,
yeah.
Any thoughts on if this might end badly?
Why would it end
badly? I don't see how it could.
Lionel.
If Lionel finds out.
Say that again.
The whole thing would end badly.
What did you say?
Well, if Lionel finds out that, how would he find out though? Does Darius tell him?
I mean, doesn't he say, it's Darius's point of view, right? In this.
I think so.
I'm pretty sure he says that it's an heirloom, the necklace.
But at this point, Lionel already thinks it's been stolen or melted in the fire. So how would he find out?
Maybe she wears it all the time and it becomes like a ring.
Well, that's adorable.
I mean, it's adorable, but does he tell her, like, listen, you can get my ass beat by wearing this. Can we put it under the shirt? No.
He's probably too happy that she's wearing it.
And not to mention Mildred is there. I'm pretty sure she will.
Oh, that bitch.
I mean,
that bitch.
If it wasn't for the jewelry, something would have made Lionel angry. You know what I mean? It was going to be something.
He's just an angry little puff.
He is.
Stupid little lizard.
Don't say that about lizards.
I've said this before or not. I don't know if I've said this before or not, but he is described as handsome and kind of like Darius, kind of tall and imposing. That is not how I imagine him in my head. I picture him as this short little mushroom guy with an overinflated, I'm angry.
Kind of like is it Penguin from Batman?
Yeah, that fits.
Yeah. In episode 12, you also say that you imagine him as very ugly.
Yeah. Well, then, yes. I can't see him as handsome at all in my head. It's not computing. Lily, you note here that you think that Caleb is looking at Rosalie because he's jealous.
Uh-huh.
What makes you think that?
I don't know. I think it's interesting that in this POV that Seth takes note of how Caleb is looking at her, but then Caleb doesn't seem that interested in her throughout the rest of it. So I was like, is it just me or does he seem to be a little more annoyed at Rosalie's advances as opposed to what Seth is thinking that he's into her?
What are your thoughts?
I don't know. I didn't see. The thing is, Lily is reading it with the Caleb Seth thing in mind. And I think you're more apt to see it. And I think you could be right. But I think because I wasn't reading it with that in mind, I took it at face value. So I assumed. But that could absolutely be right.
And then with the follow-up where she kind of propositions them and Seth's into it because he's always into pretty much anything that involves sex. And Caleb is like, I think I'm good. And Seth is like, what do you mean you're good? And Caleb's just not really interested. And then because she doesn't get a threesome, she's not interested. So I just think he was not that into her.
Yeah.
I will say this. I didn't see your point until that last bit. Because I do think that he's into her.
Okay. I mean, Caleb is also into women, but
he said no.
Yeah. Did he say no to sex or no to going to another party?
No, he says no to her implication of what she wants to do, which is a threesome.
Okay. I was trying to remember.
Maybe he had himself enough in the, what was it called?
The amplification
chamber?
The
amplification chamber.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know, but it just seemed like if you go back and listen to that chapter, Caleb's not really participating that much in the conversation or in anything that's going on. And then he says no. And Seth is confused, but he's like, okay, well, maybe he just doesn't feel like doing anything. And she doesn't, and then she leaves. And Seth is more confused by that than anything. He's like, what do you mean?
Maybe Caleb's afraid of what would happen if they had a threesome, seeing as the last time he kissed Seth, and Seth won't shut up about it.
Yeah.
Or Brittany's just trying to get you off that case because you're right.
Maybe. It could be both. Maybe he's interested in Seth but doesn't really want to admit it. And so he doesn't really want to go through with the threesome thing because he is interested and he's afraid of what will happen if he does.
We also have Seth here at the end going, oh crap, I think I have a crush on my best friend.
Uh-huh.
On my straight, didn't he say my straight best friend or something?
Yeah, his straight best friend. Which, because other than that one kiss that they shared, Caleb has shown no interest in any kind of guy whatsoever.
Right.
That part confused me a little, that he actually pointed out my straight best friend, because it kind of seems to me like in that whole world, it's more of a fluid thing, that it doesn't seem quite so much a straight.
I think it was more to do with the fact that if a girl were interested in her best friend, and that friend being straight, that's more understandable because there's no barrier except for the friendship. Here, Seth has a barrier of Caleb is only shown interest in girls, and he's a male. So,
but he's been with Caleb before.
There's a kiss. I've kissed girls before. I'm not necessarily sexually attracted. Well, I take that back. It's hard to say because I have been attracted to girls.
Yeah, but if you had already kissed a particular girl,
and I'm also asexual, so it's hard for me to be like.
Yeah, it just seems like the whole setup is.
Sorry.
I don't know. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I think that the reason it's pointed out is because Seth really thinks, because Caleb continues to say, oh, it was just a kiss, that Seth is convincing himself, he's like, he's straight. But I agree that in this realm, it seems to be more fluid. Like, they don't care as much. Yeah,
because even with like Darius and Orion, there seems to be, it's completely fine that they would have those feelings, even though it is because of the bond.
Yeah, I mean, but at the same time, Orion is still straight. It's more acceptable in their world to be fluid, but it doesn't change the fact that Darius is only into Tory, only into girls. Orion is only into girls, and they might joke about it and they might have those feelings, but it doesn't mean that they are actually into boys.
Yeah, I was surprised they put a label on it, was all. That it was just.
And I do think that it's mentioned here because Seth sees it as a barrier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So, going on to Orion's POV, we get to learn more about Diego. He shares a memory about his past. And I know y'all saw this difference.
Well, first of all, I'll say I wondered if the fact that he's not doing well in school, let's put aside the fact that he's probably a nymph or half a nymph or some shit. Maybe the shadows that he is constantly dealing with sucks his extra magic or takes away his magic or has some kind of control over it. I just had that thought. But then also, I know I'm supposed to feel bad for him, but I just don't. I don't know why. I don't know why. I know I'm supposed to. And I definitely understand growing up in a household that is not conducive to growth and love. But why do I not feel bad for Diego? I just don't care.
Diego can't, or, I don't know, you probably won't even answer this, but Diego can't alter the memories. He couldn't be like an evil guy and he's showing them what they want to see to make them feel bad for him.
That's
Could
smart.
he?
I cannot answer that question.
Wait, that's huge. What a huge thing. Oh my gosh. I don't know. I didn't even consider that, Christy. I'm going to be honest with you.
Because that was something I think that Orion points out, is that blatantly something about him is worthy power-wise to be there.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you wouldn't be there.
So why would he be doing so poorly?
Yeah, the stars deemed him fey enough to be there.
Yeah.
Which that's a good point. So that if he's been lying this whole time and making it look like he's not strong, then we should be scared.
At the same time, the stars just deemed him fey enough to be there. They didn't take his power level into consideration, potentially. It's the fae that care about power. Does that mean the stars care about power?
Yes.
She's like, yes. I have no hesitation.
But also, being fae enough is being willing to do something that nefarious. So I just think that's a good point, Christy, that I had not considered.
But didn't he, take a star promise to not betray them and to be loyal to them?
Is he the one that breaks the star promise?
I don't know. If he really cares enough about hurting them, then maybe he will. He won't care about the 7 years of bad luck or something. Or maybe someone's controlling him. Who knows?
Or maybe nymphs don't get bad luck. Maybe they just are bad luck incarnate. So
who knows?
It's like just another day.
Oh, all right. So I know you were a little disappointed. You were super happy to see this is the Orion you've been waiting for.
That's so funny.
And then
it went off a cliff.
You were like, oh, he's being so sweet and caring and helpful. And then he runs off with Darcy and they have another moment together. And Christy's so fed up with that. And
just the let's get caught part. Like, by all means. Hit it. Was it chalet, what they called his place? Okay.
I think so. Chalet.
To her room, to his chalet apartment, whatever.
With washer next door?
You know what? There's things you can do.
There's got to be places.
Yeah, there's safety places. Come on now. Darius's room. Darius would give up his room for that.
Would he? Would he? Darius is just as possessive.
I don't know. Yeah, I think I do agree there could be better places.
Yeah, I think that's mine. It's just the choice of how and where they do it. That's bunny it up. Go for it. But let's be smart about it. But at the same time, I am kind of glad because each time it happens, you're like, this is it. This is it. It's where they get caught. And it's almost a little stressful. So just go ahead and get it over with.
It is stressful.
So, but I do love how he runs his class. It cracks me up.
Yeah, me too. And see, y'all didn't believe me in the beginning where I was like, he is a good teacher. I know he's an asshole, but... So Darcy hands over her gift to Orion. What did y'all think about that?
I kind of laughed to myself because I was just like, damn, she really took that shit to heart that he had a sword from Franny.
Franny gave him a sword, so now I have to give him a better sword.
I have to say, I would have done that shit too. I would have fucking done that shit. I would have been like, okay, time to give him a better sword. I'm petty like that. I would do it. And he loved it. Good for her.
Yeah. Her sword is imbued with phoenix fire. What's your sword made of, bitch?
Which is pretty cool, but I also thought it was a missed opportunity to make it really useful for him, because weren't they talking about how in that book, I swear they talked about how they could imbue other powers into things, and so I just thought, wouldn't it be a good opportunity to imbue protection into a sword or something like that instead of just phoenix fire, because you guys are doing all these things that are going to get you caught, and then also he fights nymphs. Do something that's going to be a little more.
Well, the phoenix fire goes right through nips, and it makes the sword unbreakable.
Okay, that's good. I just felt like it was adding damage on top of damage, which it's already going to do damage. So I kind of figured, isn't there something a little more useful you could do? I don't know.
Yes,
but
I agree.
There's reasons why she couldn't.
What?
There's reasons why she couldn't.
Okay.
There's something about the protection part of it that makes a sword useless for that.
Then she could have given him an amulet.
Plus, what if somebody were to take the sword, and then they would have the protections?
You could argue the same thing for the phoenix fire.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she's got phoenix fire to protect herself.
I don't know. I don't think it's a good enough argument.
Mm-mm.
I will say this. At the end of that chapter, I think it's one of them is like, it's either at the end of that chapter or at the beginning of the next one. She's like, I'm so happy. Nothing can be wrong. And I was like, fuck you.
Here it comes.
You just ruined it. Don't ever say that.
Yeah, I mean, okay, we knew they were going to get caught. Let's be honest. We knew it was going to happen. We just didn't know when. And once the next chapter came around, I wasn't shocked, but I was like, God damn it. You know what I mean? I was just like, anyways, let's move along. Because I have been waiting for it. I was unhappy about it, but I've been waiting for it.
Yeah.
All right. Why is it that the one time that Orion comes to breakfast, that's when he gets arrested? That's what I want to know. And it has to happen in front of the whole damn school.
Because it has to be embarrassing. It has to be embarrassing for Orion. Poor guy.
And we had to give Darcy a reason to act like a total twat.
Oh my God.
I will say this. I was like, Darcy, you're making it worse. Please sit down.
Yeah.
Way to be like, of course he's wrong. I'm gonna make it obvious that yes, he is fucking me.
Yeah, exactly. Like, play it cool, you know? What are you talking about?
I also understand that, oh my God, I need to go help.
Because she couldn't have been like, fake news. That's
I don't know.
us.
I kind of see it both ways. I agree that if she had just played it cool, then maybe they could pretend it wasn't happening. But then at the same time, I don't know. I'm trying to give it to her because she was freaking out.
I completely understand that. Especially with the consequences, the potential consequences that there are. Yeah. It's a definite power shame that's going to happen. The potential to go to jail. She might lose her place in school.
But she knew that.
Yeah.
If she was that worried about it, again, they wouldn't have taken the risk they did. But let me also point out that this is, I'm ignoring you, is you also... Huh?
Hold on. No, keep going.
Yeah, you finish yours. And
yeah.
This is also going to be somebody that I would assume, based on their powers, that if there was any kind of war, they were queens, that they would also be in the battle as well. And so she keeps freaking out over shit. And I realize she's still young and learning. But at what point is it going to become a liability if she can't control her emotions? You know, and I'm sure you're going to ask me, have I ever done stupid shit over love? Absolutely. 100%. But there's a vast difference between the consequences we would have faced and what they would be facing. If it truly came down to a life risk of the person that you loved, you would be more careful. They could have still been together. They could have still shared their love. They still could have fucked like bunnies and done it safer. But it was like they got off on doing it in a way that put them at risk. And so there's that frustration with that aspect. Don't tell me it's that important or that it's that big of a deal if you're not giving it that proper respect when it really counts.
Lily.
And Lily, go ahead. I agree that they should have found better places to do it, but I also feel like you can know the risk of something, know that it's potentially a bad idea, and also be aware of that while you're making a bad decision. I don't know. I just think that there are a lot of situations in our life that we know that there's a risk to be taken and we do it anyway. And especially when it comes to love, I think it's really easy to get carried away and forget the situation at hand.
It is, but think about that they got caught by Seth and the terror over that. And that wasn't that long ago. And it's kind of shocking that they wouldn't have made different choices after that happened. Like there was actually some consequences and could have been much worse.
Yeah.
So it's, but again, I'm not being fair because I'm also really not holding Orion accountable under that. Mostly my frustration is with Darcy, which is not fair. It's
when
not
he's
fair
the
at
one
all.
that set up the date.
He is. He absolutely is.
To be fair, that area in the library was supposed to be, you have to have teachers' permission to go down there, off limits to students kind of area, so it should have been safe.
Walking through the library, no. And teacher's permission means that you would heavily be noticed if you're going in that area.
It's underground, and you have to have teacher's permission. You have to know it's there.
It's like the restricted section, I guess.
Yeah, but think about if somebody's headed to the restricted section, you're going to be like, whoa, look who's headed to the restricted section.
But they went in like different times.
That's like meet me in the bathroom on an airplane. Yeah, everybody knows what's happening.
This library sounds very big. So honestly, if somebody were to go into the staff area at the library upstairs at 2 different times, I wouldn't realize it. I mean, and the reference department might notice that 2 people went back there around the same time, but did they really know that they went to that one room together?
If there's a room that not many people go in and it's kind of secret and hard to get into, and you've got 2 people closely following each other, then yes, pretty much everybody is going to be like having sex. But the thing is, they could have used his office as well. They could have put protections. They could. I mean, there's just.
But Orion gets off on books,
huh?
What
did you say?
Too.
Oh God.
Orion.
Well, you know what? Go check some books out. Bring them back. Set them out.
Bring them with you to the party if you gotta.
And another point that I wanted to say is that, yes, while they are being reckless, they did both almost see the other die. And they kind of went on this whole realization of what if they die tomorrow?
I get it. And to be fair, I am really tired of Darcy.
I know.
And I think that the authors, especially what they did with Tori, made me so frustrated with Darcy that it isn't entirely being fair with her at this point. Like, I think the standards that I'm holding her to and the things that I get frustrated with her for are things I'm okay with another character doing. And I would feel it more. But I think that, for me at least, they ran that relationship into the ground so much that I found myself in this chapter. I'm worried about Orion. But as far as the relationship goes, I really don't honestly have a whole lot of feelings one way or the other. It's kind of like, meh.
And to be fair, Tory and Darius's relationship never got off the ground. They were bad thing after bad thing after bad thing happening to them. And Darcy and Orion basically only had like this nice, easy-going relationship. But they did have some troubles with Seth but mostly they've had a good relationship. They've not had relationship problems. It's all been external.
Yeah.
And they're about to switch roles. Tory and Darius are not going to have it easy. But as far as relationship problems, it's about to switch roles.
Yeah.
So
I'll have to see. Maybe the trial will make me reignited on their relationship. Because I really did like them at first. And I really wanted them together. But it's just...
Hopefully after Darcy suffers for a while, you'll consider her again.
Let's see. It sounds so mean.
all right. So I know that we've talked about this a little bit before, but Lily, you think that Kylie's the one that turned them in?
I do. I don't know why. I just have a feeling it was Kylie. I was trying to think of who would possibly do it, unless it's someone who is just a surprise, like someone we wouldn't consider.
It was the librarian.
Yeah,
She's like, they're screwing my books.
It could be like a random professor or something like that, but I have a feeling after that scene that we had with Kylie and where she blows up at Darcy and proves to us again that she's absolutely still nuts, I think it has to be Kylie, right? I don't know who else would still be so out to get Darcy.
Your thoughts?
I agree. That makes sense. I would hope that the authors wouldn't make it someone inconsequential, because then it wouldn't really mean the same if they were just, come upon or something. So I could definitely see that being the case.
Maybe it was Principal Nova.
I don't know. I think Principal Nova would be like, let me get in there.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah.
But hold on. I got a buddy who wants this too.
And Principal Nova acted like so aghast whenever they came and arrested Orion. So I don't think it's her.
No.
If it is Kylie, Darcy's going to have to punish whoever did this to her.
Oh, I hope she beats the shit out of her. I hope she absolutely ruins her life.
I'm sorry, what, Tori?
Sorry.
So any thoughts on the potential punishment?
Wouldn't it be great if she slept with Seth?
You think Orion is going to be okay with that?
Never.
Yeah.
Never. No. Realistically, that would never happen. But that would be kind of funny.
Any thoughts?
On punishments? I don't know. I don't feel like I should get a vote on this.
You're like, kill her? I don't know.
I think because I was so frustrated in this part that she kept trying to blame, she tried to blame Seth.
Yeah.
She got mad at Gabriel. And I definitely agree that that's why he apologized, was because because it's Orion, he felt like he should have seen it coming.
I felt bad for Seth. She just immediately was like, it was you. And I was like, okay, come on. At this point, it's probably not Seth.
Yeah.
Well, but there was no recognition of, oh shit, we did this. We shouldn't have done this. I can't believe we got caught. I don't know. It was just everybody else's fault. So for me, even with it being, if it's Kylie, well, what part of the ownership is there that you put yourself in this position was kind of my frustration. Don't get me wrong. If this was fucking Tory, I would be like, beat Kylie's ass down. It literally is not fair to Darcy, which I get. That's why I don't think I should get a vote.
Would y'all like another spoiler teaser?
In reference to what?
Something Lily just said that I'm dying to say.
Okay. She's done.
Okay.
So I'm not saying it's because she's punishing Kylie, but Darcy might sleep with Seth.
Oh no. Wow. Okay, so Lily is going to hate Darcy now.
Yeah.
Welcome aboard.
Damn. Welcome. Oh, that would make me really angry. Oh, that would make me really angry on behalf
How
of
is that
Orion.
a teaser spoiler?
It's like you said, you should listen to my words.
Might sleep with Seth? How is that's like...
I think that's the teaser part, but I think it is she does sleep with Seth.
There's 2 ways you can take that.
What 2 ways?
Sleep in the bed with him?
Oh.
I just hope that is not the star promise that is broken.
So she's trying to make Kylie think that she slept with them, and is she gonna
She is not trying to make Kylie.
Is it like an innocent thing that she takes the wrong way?
It is something that Kylie will take the wrong way.
Okay.
But
is Orion gonna like that?
Yeah, I don't think he's gonna like that.
Told you they're going to have relationship problems. Anyway, so how do you think the trial's going to end up? What do you think their punishment's going to be? Do you think Darcy will be kicked out of school? I mean, we already know that Orion is going to end up power shamed, but is he going to be punished any further? Because there's always the potential that he might get jail, but maybe not. Maybe Lionel will step in, because how is this going to affect Darius? Thoughts?
I think Darcy will be allowed to stay in school with some kind of probation or, some kind of punishment. I don't really know how the trial is going to go. I don't think it's going to go well. That's all I have to say.
I don't think he's going to end up jailed, or at least jailed for long. I wonder if Lionel will somehow use that to control him, to either get him out, or kind of like he did with with Dante.
Yeah. That's a good guess.
Put something in place to control him. That he has to do these certain things in order to stay free. Yeah. I don't know. There's so many ways that this can go.
If he does go to jail, how is he going to research freeing Darius? And Tory?
Well, he'll have a lot more time because he won't be having sex all the time.
But he won't have access to the books.
Goddamn.
If he's in jail.
Honestly, I would think The Prisoners would be better than any book, because I bet a lot of those would be really
In breaking a curse?
possibly.
Okay.
All right. I guess we will end it there. We hope that you've enjoyed the show. Next episode, we'll be discussing Book 5, Cursed Fates, chapters 31 through 40. New episodes drop every week.
Please remember to like, subscribe, and follow us on social media. That like and follow are super important for us to continue to bring you new episodes each week. So please, please, please do so. Thank you for listening to the Midnight Readers podcast. We'll see you next week.
Happy reading, listeners. Don't stay up too late.